opportunity not to be missed, and that's what Mr. Trump and his allies have understood. We are caught up now in an economy that is spinning out of control. The rich who sit at the top have the United States for what he's doing was already there, just waiting for somebody who would do it because it would be a political opportunity not to be missed, and that's what Mr. Trump and his allies have understood. We are caught up now in an economy that is spinning out of control. The rich who sit at the top have no limits. When one of them, like Warren Buffett, says, hey, we're not paying enough taxes, we're going to become so rich, and the rest of the people are going to become so poor that they are going to do what your previous guest told us about that crowd outside the house on Nixon's last day. We're going to hear more and more of those stories. You're going to have them on your program. You're going to comment because you have a wonderful sense of humor and you're going to play with it, which you should. Laughing at it is the only way to stop from crying about it. I know. But in the long run, we're going to do both. We'll laugh when we can, and then, you know, when you can't get medical care for your mother when she needs it, when you can't get a job, when you've gone to school and spent all that money, borrowed up the wazoo so you can get a degree and it doesn't get you the job you had dreamed and hoped for. Now you're stuck with a debt you can't cover. We're talking about the experience of millions and millions of Americans that's getting worse with each day. A society that's spinning out of control that way, well, that takes me to something you and I have discussed, which is we are living through the dying of an empire. And these kinds of things are what happen when empires die. Now, in the streets, one of the things that Trump does is what every great tax cut for corporations and the rich always does. In order to get that passed, they put with it a teeny little tax cut for average people in order to fool the public into thinking, oh, I'm getting a tax cut alongside the rich and the corporations. No, they're getting an enormous hamburger and you're getting a small crumb off a corner of the hamburger bun. Now, if you're happy with that, okay, but then you're an idiot. It's really an insult. But what did they do this time? This time they said, we're letting tip income be free of taxes. They added it. If you read the law, what they passed, first, there's a limit. You can't do that for more than $25,000 a year. Well, if you talk to most waiters and waitresses, that's already what it gives them nothing. You put a cap. Is there a cap on rich people? No. There's a cap on the tip. Who invented this behavior? This is childish. We have no organizations. I shouldn't be that harsh. Our organizations are few, far between, and weak. And that's a terrible problem. We've got to fix that. No one else is going to do it for us. We've got to create the organizations, work together to be a real opposition, and then we can go in the streets and we can make an enormous difference, no question at all. Part of the reason they keep doing what they're doing, making the inequality of this society ever worse, is because they have no opposition. When Mr. Trump came to office the first time, part of his appeal was he said what the conventional leaders of the Republican and Democratic Party never talk about. Right. The United States is becoming a fundamentally more unequal society with each passing day. And that's been going on for the 40 years because that's what a redistribution of wealth, that's what it means. You're taking wealth away from the poor, you're taking it away from the middle, and you're creating the Jeffrey Bezos of the world who take over Venice for their marriage because that's the world we live in. Most Americans can't get to Venice to look at it, and he owns it for a week of festivities, and he arrives in his $500 million yacht, right? You and I make jokes about it because it's like talking about the moon. Unrelated we are. Sorry. So you're creating gross inequality. That inequality, which helped Mr. Trump get into office because people are upset about it, he made it worse. His tax cut worsened the inequality. Then, because he's a smart politician, he turned around, used the fact that inequality had gotten worse, blamed it on Biden, who, by the way, also made it worse, but he didn't do it anywhere near as bad as Trump had done. He didn't pass a tax cut, anything like that. So, but it was clever. So people are still upset because inequality is still worse. He gets himself into office a second time, and now this big, beautiful bill will make it worse again. In December of 2017, he, controlling the Congress at that time the way he does now, got through a tax cut. And it was a tax cut that was bigger than most tax cuts have been. Everybody knows that and agrees to that. And it favored corporations and the rich, and everybody except a few people that no one takes seriously anymore understand that it did that. Now, what was most interesting about that tax cut is that it came at the end of a 40-year period, the 1980s, 90s, first and second, basically, decades of this century. 40 years during which every statistic in this study showed a redistribution of wealth in America from the bottom and the middle to the top. Everyone shows it. Oh, we disagree about the specific numbers, but no one seriously disputes that we had redistributed wealth in a way we had never seen before in America in that 40-year period. To say the same thing in simple English, never did corporations and the rich need a tax cut less than in that moment when they got it. And the only thing the limp and lame Democrats could do was to attach to that law a sunset, a date, namely December 31st, 2025, when the provisions of that tax cut would expire. So the business community cheered. They cheered as loud or louder than those people that your previous guest told us about the day that Nixon resigned. The people outside the White House cheering when the Mayflower moving truck arrived to take his stuff out of the bedroom or whatever they did. Well, not only did they cheer, but they did what you could expect them to do. They weren't horrified by Mr. Trump's white supremacy. They weren't horrified by his scapegoating immigrants. They brought him back for his second bow. They brought him back, and they had a number one task: perpetuate that tax cut from before and add a little extra tax cut for us on your second time. They brought him back, and over the last few weeks, he delivered on what he was sent to Washington to do. All the rest of it is political theater. Oh, it may have terrible results. It may be rehabilitating every kind of racism and jingoism. It's horrible. I don't question that. But that's a sideshow, however much you and I may be by it. The main show is the one we've just watched. The tax cut bill of 2017, which we didn't need and shouldn't have done then, has now been continued rather than letting it expire at the end of this year, which is what should have happened. That's what he did. That's the big, beautiful, that's all theater. It's a simple job he was sent there to do. He's done it. And the people who run this country, the big bankers, the big hedge fund operators, the leaders of Amazon and Google and all of that, they don't care what he does the next 2.5, 3 years. Who cares? Just like they didn't care what he did in 2018, 2019. For them, his presidency is over. The rest, he can do whatever he wants because they don't care. If he goes too far for them, they'll slap him on the wrist and he'll back off. By the way, that's what's happening to many of the tariffs. He did a big show. He's the big tough guy in the world. He's telling everybody what else to do. It doesn't work. And so he backs off. But the people who run it, they don't care whether he does it. They don't care whether he succeeds a lot, a little, not at all. They've got their job done and they're happy. And they're starting to look now. This is Mr. Trump's biggest problem. Now that it's done, they're looking who the next president is going to be because for them, Mr. Trump is over. And we all may.
Man, I am glad you guys joined me today. I thought that I would start my live with this. If you did not watch my program yesterday, I took you step by step how the owner of Palantir, another South African, Peter Thiel, has invested so much money into getting a nobody. He propped J.D. Vance up with jobs. J.D. Vance is not a self-made man. J.D. Vance was propped up by Peter Thiel and all the millions, all the friends who he called to get J.D. Vance these jobs. J.D. Vance is an empty suit propped up by Peter Thiel. And if I took you through this step by step, up and into the fact that Peter Thiel and Elon Musk were partners in what they call the PayPal mafia, up and into how Elon Musk went into our administration and collected all our data, up and into how our data gets these Silicon Valley people paid, up and into how our government is using Palantir's technology and all our data that his buddy Elon Musk got into to control the population. See, all of these feelings that are being talked about with absolutely no facts. If you didn't see my live on yesterday about a social what is it called, the social the social your social credit score, that is what these people in big tech are doing. Now, you have idiots running around here talking about what AI is doing. AI in the United States is not doing anything. China has created AI for less than $6 million. Why we have these American companies talking about how many billions of dollars it's going to take for them to be the best, and they're fighting to see who's going to be the best in AI, and whatever they do with all of these big acreage of land that they need to cool their data systems is obsolete, based on the China mode that has created a better AI than American AI is trying to create. Now, all of these data banks that they are putting in communities, these big tech people do not even want you to know that they are infiltrating different cities in the United States, and they're plugging in to your electric system and your water system. And you didn't watch my live yesterday. It's not about what people feel. This is about what is actually going on. And they are doing it under the darker night, secret meetings, under NDA, non-disclosure agreements. This is how they are getting their data centers into your communities with deregulation, and that's why Elon Musk is pumping out all of the pollutants in the air in Memphis, Tennessee. How I showed you the story how they were trying to get a data center in Tucson, Arizona, and they did it secretly, and somebody was filing a FOIA request for something else, and they just happened to see a line item concerning a data center. And then when they investigated it and told the people of Tucson, Arizona, they were pissed off that they had found out. And then, so they had a meeting. This is a $36 billion company under hiding, where what's his name? Mark Bezos was hiding under their name, so you couldn't see that it was Amazon, a $36 billion company. And then so they met with the people of Tucson, and then when the lady asks, how is this going to affect my water bill? See, but what you don't know, these big data centers, they use tons and tons of electricity and tons and tons of water to cool off their systems. So what about that's the cost of doing business? Isn't that the cost of doing business? Isn't that their business? No. But what they did is they wanted to plug into the county system, and that would increase the rates of everybody who was billed a water bill. Billionaires. And so while they deflecting your attention off of what's really going on. This is what's really going on. Your water bill is going up hundreds of dollars. Your electric bill is going up hundreds of dollars because people are so enamored with the rich that they take their positions with these city councils and do backroom deals that's going to increase your bills for something that they say is going to improve your life. AI. Something's going to improve your life, but they have never told you how it is going to improve your life. I went over the your social scores. Now they have a app that is has a social score for you as an employee, a social score. Now the guy said you will be able to own all your data, but he is the creator of this app that companies pay him for to be on that app. Do you think that that app is going to spread wide? Do you think you own your data? First of all, how can you own your data when he owns the company? First of all, do you think that it's certified people who do jobs that requires no certification? So do you now think that to work in a my example was a gas station, something that does not allow for any certification, and now this tech guy has an idea how you can go on this app and see room shakers or Z-Sarah or my whole work history? Do you think for 1 minute that they are not going to try to make this a thing? They said that it can replace resumes. They can understand everything about you, how your co-workers feel about you. They can understand everything about you, and they can easily send that to your new employers. But what if you don't have good things on there? So instead of giving the required information for your new employer on there, they're giving all of any type of side information about you. So what they're doing is they're making you comply to be able to even get a job, and it based upon this social score. That's what they're doing. They're making you comply. Okay. Hey, Candy Cane, how are you doing? Okay, so now I also want to talk about this. This has not been talked about enough. This is the 20th anniversary of Katrina. If you didn't watch my show yesterday, you missed the letter that was put out about FEMA. That they said that they had unqualified people working in the highest jobs at FEMA, and that did not know what they were doing. Now, in fact, during that flood, I asked, where is the head of FEMA? The head of FEMA never showed up during that flood that happened in Texas. You never saw the head of FEMA show up. FEMA was 3 days late sending search and rescue out there because Kristi Noem needed to line item every penny that was being sent as children were dying. 3 days later is when the search and rescue was able to go out in that Texas flood. Now, also, 4547 said he wants to make FEMA a part of the states. He wanted the states to handle FEMA. So, here we are on the 20th anniversary of FEMA. Not FEMA, the 20th anniversary of Katrina. And finding out all the devastation that happened because there was no good or correct federal response to FEMA. And this same week of the 20th anniversary of Katrina, you get a letter from employees, up to almost 200 employees signed on to this letter, and saying that all of the things that they learned from FEMA, that learned from Katrina, that have been implemented into FEMA because of what they learned their shortfalls were into protecting who? the American people, not the rich. The rich can't protect themselves. They can get on one of their jets, a helicopter, one of their yachts. They can protect themselves. But when it came to protecting the people who pay taxes, you know, those taxes that they always want to not have the rich people pay. When it comes to protecting you, the taxpayer, they learned a lot of stuff, and they learned a lot of ways that this could be handled differently to do what? Save your lives. But the letter that they wrote this week, the 20th anniversary of FEMA, said that all of the gains and all of the things that they learned through FEMA had been taken away from FEMA, and you had people in the highest position of FEMA that did not even know how to handle emergencies, had never did this type of work. And in fact, the head of FEMA got it put into his office, and you know what he said out loud? They said it's almost hurricane season. He said out loud, I never knew that there was a such thing as a hurricane season. That's the head of FEMA. That's the head of FEMA who didn't show up when all those children died in that flood. Okay, so 20th anniversary of FEMA. I want to share this information with you, and let's remember what happened during FEMA. I mean, Hurricane Katrina.
Now, democracynow.org. I'm Narmeen Sheikh in New York with Amy Goodman in Telluride, Colorado. This week marks the 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, the 2005 storm that devastated the Gulf Coast, killing more than 1,800 people and forcing more than 1 million to evacuate.
Rest of the hour looking back at Hurricane Katrina and at where New Orleans is today. We'll speak with Malik Rahim, founder of Common Ground Relief, as well as journalist Jordan Flaherty. But first, we go back to some of our coverage of Katrina from 20 years ago as we went back and forth to New Orleans. It begins with then New Orleans Mayor Ray Nagin.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish I had better news for you, but we are facing a storm that most of us have feared. Every person is hereby ordered to immediately evacuate the city of New Orleans, or if no other alternative is available, to immediately move to one of the facilities within the city that will be designated as a refuge of last resort.
New Orleans and the Gulf Coast region remain in a state of catastrophe following the devastating Hurricane Katrina. At least 80% of New Orleans is underwater. The city has no electricity and little drinkable water. Officials say New Orleans will be uninhabitable for weeks. On Tuesday, 2 levees broke, flooding areas of the city that appeared to survive the storm.
This is a national disaster. Get every doggone Greyhound bus line in the country and get their asses moving to New Orleans. That's their thinking small, man, and this is a major, major, major deal.
Talking about tens of thousands of people who are left behind, and those are the sickest, the oldest, poorest, the youngest, the people with disabilities and the like. And the plan was that everybody should leave. Well, you can't leave if you're in a hospital. You can't leave if you're a nurse. You can't leave if you're a patient. You can't leave if you're in a nursing home. You can't leave if you don't have a car.
Okay, so let's be clear who's under attack by this staggering staggering redistribution of wealth. The poor, women, LGBTQ people. That's who is at risk. the head of Palantir said that he doesn't even think women should have the right to vote. He said that he think that rich people votes should count more than you regular people. Let's continue.
There are throngs of people, easily in the tens of thousands, maybe 40 to 50,000 people, in my estimation, standing on this plaza, trying to get to a very narrow area where they're being escorted to the buses. I haven't seen one bus leave yet.
These babes, 6 and 8 months, the people just walking past us.
No food, no water, no nothing. Whatever we had, we've been taking it. That's the only way we could survive.
We got the food right here. Let me show you right here. All of it, look, right here, look. They won't give us nothing.
Got the food and water locked up. We're not giving the people anything. This link is in my description box. Make sure you go over there and check it out. Democracy Now! Has 3 videos out. One is a full documentary. There's a documentary on, who was it? Netflix has one. There are several documentaries out on Katrina. But I just wanted you to see. While George W. Bush also said something to the effect, if they catch you looting, even if it was food or things that you said you need, it was going to be a federal offense or something. It's in here. Even if it's something that you need, like food. But notice that they categorize black people as looters, but they categorize everyone else who were not black as people just simply trying to get things to survive. Let's continue.
I gave right there. Look, they won't give us that. We ain't drinking no ice water, nothing.
It's not about low income. It's not about rich people, poor people. It's about people. Nobody wants to hurt anybody in the city. Nobody wants to hurt these people who have these businesses. You know what? A little air and a little food and water, for God's sake, that's it.
There's nobody in charge. The National Guard, there's the police. There is nobody. Somebody needs to come take charge and put organization and get these people to safety, to get them clothes, the basic things that they need to live from day to day.
Well, we've been people being killed down here. People was having their body just lying out in the street. They were shooting each other. The military was shooting. One of my neighbors said the military guy shot at him. So that's what made me not want to come down here.
Federal relief officials have played.
One of my neighbors, the military guy shot at him. So if you think that the military is being put on our street to fight crime, that's not true. That is not true. The military was shooting at these people who had nothing, who was not shooting at them. These people were being shot at by the military. And there is going to be the story about the 3 men who were shot down by police officers, and they took the police officers' story at face value. One of them was a special needs man. Trying to cross the bridge, trying to get out of this suffering. But they didn't want nobody from New Orleans going across the big bridge. Why? Why, if they were getting out of this flood and suffering? But they were remanded to stay in New Orleans. And this what was going on. Let's continue.
Played almost no role. The head of FEMA, Michael Brown, admitted on CNN last night his agency didn't even know that thousands of hungry refugees were inside the convention center. Residents continue to break into stores in search of everything from food and water to guns to luxury items.
Nobody here but us, and we just got to look out for one another. All your politicians, they want to get on TV, talking about they're feeding this for it and feeding that for it. We ain't seen nothing over here yet.
The White House announced it would have zero tolerance for looters, even for those taking essential items needed to stay alive.
Well, I want zero tolerance for that kind of language being used by leaders of our government to discuss poor people, poor black people who are trying to survive under the most desperate, insane circumstances. I want zero tolerance for thousands of our troops being sent to Iraq when we need them here.
I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. See a white family, it says they're looking for food. George Bush doesn't care about black people.
In Biloxi, Mississippi, the first federal aid arrived only yesterday, 3 full days after the storm wiped out entire sections of the city. In smaller towns in Mississippi, help has still not arrived.
We left for the hurricane and came back Monday night hoping that we could help some people because, I don't know, looking at the response to this storm, particularly initially, there wasn't a lot of outside help, so we decided that really it was up to the people of Jefferson Parish to take the parish back.
What I saw from the federal government was a grand total of 3 boats. Border Patrol agents on 3 boats, 2 airboats and 1 flat-bottom boat. And I saw far more of a response from citizens who had just taken it upon themselves to go and pluck people out of their homes, and they plucked about a dozen out on Saturday.
We don't have any government response here. Everything that's taken place is taken place by volunteers and citizens in the area. Why aren't there 50 inflatable boats in the water working a grid, making sure all these people are out of here? Why is it just volunteers? That's the only people you see around.
FEMA Director Mike Brown is in charge of all federal response and recovery efforts in the field.
And Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job.
Democratic. Who don't remember that? Brownie, you're doing a heck of a job. As we watch people languish. Now, there was no, I believe on these documentaries, they are going to show the experience of these people who were at the Superdome. Let me tell you something. See, where we need to get our minds right at, yes, there was crimes committed in the Superdome. This nation is not a crime-free nation. Why do they call predators predators? Because they're predators. They're criminal predators. So just because they're criminal predators, we are going to ignore all of this and beat up on black people because we feel a way about our blackness. Is that what we're doing now? Is that what we're doing when they have billions and billions of dollars that they are sending over to Israel? And when we understand the problems, when it came to a natural disaster, and we put a mechanism in place so this won't happen again, only for a rich bastard who was propped up into office by the world's richest man to take all of these safeguards off of the agency and to dismantle the agency that is that learned the lessons from this. Now all of this knowledge has been dismantled because it takes care of you. But you don't have nothing for that. People don't have nothing for that. Let's continue.
Leader Nancy Pelosi has called for your resignation, and I'm wondering if you have a response to that.
The president's in charge of that, not me.
Well, right at the top, you have Michael Brown, and as you mentioned, he was the commissioner of judges at the International Arabian Horse Association. To give you an idea of what he did there, he spent a year investigating whether a breeder performed liposuction on a horse's rear end.
This is an attempt by some in this room.
Okay, so Michael Brown, that was his prior job, and he had absolutely no experience, pretty much like 47's current FEMA director, who has not even shown up at the disaster that killed, I think it was like 23 to 26 children in a flood that they got no notice from because they let the richest person in the world come in and fire people from the weather service in NOAA. Let that sink in. But we talking about crimes in proximity. We acting like this is the worst thing in the United States because you're being that this is the worst thing in the United States. They want you to believe that you're nothing. They want you to believe that people like you are nothing. Why do you think that you have so many babbling ass black people and telling you why it was be good to vote for 45-47? Because of his economic policies. A man who has gone bankrupt and his business 7 or 8 times. And you got these house niggas out here telling you why it was good to vote for old Donald Trump. Oh, because of his you see how high eggs are? Eggs are so high. Eggs are so high. But the eggs were so high because there was bird flu. And they had to kill a lot of chickens. See, did anybody put that together for you? Is anybody gonna put that together for you in the future, that you have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. over the CDC? No, the Health and Human Services. Is anybody going to put that together when there is a sickness among human beings? They couldn't even put that together for you because of the price of eggs. So what is going to be the price of your life? With Robert F. Kennedy, a vaccine denier, over Health and Human Services, what is going to be the cost of that? The Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who says black people have a different immune system than other people, therefore they don't need as many to be vaccinated on the same schedule as other people. Does that mean that your black ass and your black babies and your black children are going to be going without vaccines that can prevent them from getting all these childhood diseases that have been eradicated when you were getting your vaccination on schedule? This is the same R.F. Kennedy Jr. who said that HIV AIDS doesn't affect black people the way it affects white people. Let's continue. Have we learned any lessons yet? Have you tried to learn any lessons yet? Or are you just regurgitating and spitting out the shit that the man is telling you? No white man ain't never did nothing wrong to me. It's been the black people did wrong to me. No white man has never did any wrong to you. The same thing that Candace Owens was saying about the percentage of people who owned slaves. Yes, she tried that as well. Every white person in the South didn't own slaves, but every white person in the South benefited off of the systematic way that slavery kept the South. They were able to prosper under the slave. Even if they didn't have slave, they were able to prosper under the wealth that slavery brought to the South. See, it's not this don't touch me. Yeah, it does touch you. The history touches you as well. Just because you didn't live back there, just because you didn't live in this state, systematic things that have touched you, why do you think they want to erase history? Why do you think they even want to erase history? You guys act like y'all don't understand that the Supreme Court is going to be voting on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which secures a district for black and brown people. Okay, let's continue.
To engage in finger pointing and blame game, and I'm just not going to do that. I've made it very clear. And the president spoke about him last week, and his comments stand in terms of what he said about the great work that they've been doing around the clock, 24 hours a day, to help people on the ground.
Excerpts of Democracy Now!'s coverage of Hurricane Katrina 20 years ago. That last speaker was Scott McClellan, who served as spokesperson for then-President George W. Bush. The massive storm struck the Gulf Coast on August 29, 2005. Democracy Now! Soon went down to report from the streets of New Orleans.
One person we interviewed in the neighborhood of Algiers was Malik Rahim, co-founder of the Common Ground Collective. On September 10th, 2005, we aired this report. When Malik took us around the corner from a community health center, he showed us how a corpse still remained on the street. It had been neglected since Hurricane Katrina hit. We asked soldiers and police why the corpse had not been picked up.
Around the corner from the health department, that was not really damaged. And I want you to see the people from all of these different departments days later. This is 2 weeks this body has been reported laying out on the street. I want you to see how unconcerned these people are in addressing this body being rotten in the streets.
Basically smell it from right here. You know, and the police, they pass by, they'll look at it, and but they ain't gonna do nothing, you know, to pick it up.
Malik then walked us down the driveway next to the health center and lifted up a sheet of corrugated metal marked with an X, revealing the dead body underneath.
Now, his body been here for almost 2 weeks, 2 weeks tomorrow. All right, that this body been laying here. And there's no reason for it. Look where we at. I mean, it's not flooded. There's no reason for them to be and left that body right here like this. I mean, that's just totally disrespect. You know, and I mean, 2 weeks.
Wait a minute. The National Guards are all over the place. Surely the National Guard is there to save the citizens. Surely the National Guard being on the streets have been the savior of the people. Well, let's see. We're going to see some National Guardsmen drive through.
Every day we ask them about come and pick it up. And they refuse to come and pick it up. And you can see it's literally decomposing right here, right out in the sun. Every day we sit up and we ask them about it. Because, I mean, this is closest you could get to tropical climate in America. And everything with it.
Malik, do you know who this person is?
No. But regardless of who it is, I wouldn't care if it's Saddam Hussein or Bin Laden. Nobody deserves to be left here. And the kids pass by here and they're seeing it. I mean, the elderly, this is what frightened a lot of people into leaving. We don't know if he's a victim of vigilantes or what, but that's all we know is that his body has been allowed to remain out here for over 2 weeks.
We're standing right outside the health clinic. Its doors are chained. The building is not seriously damaged. No. Have you reached people there? What authorities have you talked to pick up this body?
We're going to talk to everyone from the Army to the New Orleans police to the state troopers to, I mean, we're going to talk to everybody who we can. I even talked to Oliver Thomas, who was the councilman at large yesterday, about this body. He said he was surprised to see that this body is still there. But it's 2 weeks. 2 weeks that this man been just laying here.
As Malik Rahim was speaking, as if on cue, every level of authority he mentioned drove by. There's a dead body right here. Who are you with?
We're with Bravo 15.
Which is?
The CAV.
Army.
Army, yes,
nice
regular Army.
There's a dead body right here. Can you guys pick it up?
I don't think we can pick it up, but we can call the local authorities to come and pick it up.
This gentleman who lives in the neighborhood said that they have been trying to get... Here, let me ask these guys too. Excuse me. Hi, there's a dead body right here. Can Louisiana State Troopers, can you pick it up?
You need to talk to our public information officer, ma'am.
It's been here for 2 weeks. We filmed it last week, and the gentleman over here said he's been trying to get it picked up for 2 weeks, and Louisiana State Troopers, the police, the Army, no one has responded. We're looking right over at it right there.
You need to talk to our public information officer. You can contact them at the troop.
Your name is?
You need to talk to our public information officer.
Do you know about the body?
You need to talk to our public information officer.
Sir, do you know about the body over there?
ma'am, you talk with our public information officer.
Do you know what they should do to get this body removed?
I have no idea. I can't tell you. I don't know. There's been several people over here looking at it.
That was Homeland Security that just went by. Sir, what you're saying?
There's been several people over here looking at it, but like I said, I haven't seen anybody take it.
Several Army guys?
Army. I've seen police over here looking at it. Seen ambulances looking at it. That's about it.
No.
To our knowledge, the body was never identified. Malik Rahim is the
Our
co-founder.
saviors in the National Guard didn't save us this time. Now, she interviews that same gentleman 20 years later. I will leave you to peruse that at your leisure. The link is in my description box. I think I have a little more about Hurricane Katrina. No, this may be about FEMA in regards to what they learned from Hurricane Katrina. FEMA today, I think. Yeah. Oh, and the staff that wrote that letter it was a whistleblower letter about what was going on in FEMA. The staff were immediately put on leave of absence.
democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. FEMA is suspending over 24 staff members who were among those who signed a letter criticizing the Trump administration for gutting FEMA's ability to handle natural disasters. The letter came just days before this 20th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, which devastated New Orleans in what was one of the costliest, deadliest hurricanes in U.S. history. More than 180 current and former FEMA workers signed the letter titled the Katrina Declaration. As the letter notes, the current acting FEMA head, David Richardson, has no experience managing natural disasters. He made headlines in June for reportedly telling FEMA staff during a briefing he didn't know the U.S. has a hurricane season. Richardson was also nowhere to be found after the deadly flash flood in Texas in July. We go now to Jeremy Edwards, former spokesperson for FEMA, who signed the letter. He's also a former spokesperson for the Biden White House. He's now a senior communications advisor at the Century Foundation. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Jeremy Edwards. It's great to have you with us. Can you explain what the Katrina Declaration is? Well over 100 people signed it, some anonymously, some named, some formerly at FEMA like you, and some working at FEMA. Those people apparently have been suspended who were named who signed the letter.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here. I would call this letter to Congress, unfortunately, a cry for help. The agency has been badly damaged by this administration. They've fired a third of the permanent workforce. They've cut trainings. They've installed a person at the top of the agency, as you pointed out in your opening, has no experience. The Secretary of Homeland Security is taking the unnecessary step and overly burdensome step of requiring her personal sign-off on mission assignments, contracts, grants that are above $100,000, which is slowing down operations and leading to delays in getting assistance where it needs to go. So this letter represents, like I said earlier, a cry for help, trying to get Congress to something about this before we make the mistakes that we made that led to the disaster that was Hurricane Katrina.
And I wanted to ask you, how important is the policy oversight and support of FEMA? We have not only the example of what happened 20 years ago with Hurricane Katrina, but even closer to President Trump, we have what happened in FEMA's response to Hurricane Maria when he was president in 2017. The president famously going down to Puerto Rico and throwing paper towels at the victims of Hurricane Maria. Talk about how important it is to have that White House support for this agency.
You know, it's absolutely critical. We've seen what happens when there are people in charge who don't take the agency's mission seriously. We saw that in Katrina. As you pointed out during the response to Hurricane Maria, we saw that as well. And unfortunately, we saw that most recently in the federal government's response to what happened in Texas. You know, you remember that during the Texas disaster, the Texas floods there, because of Secretary Kristi Noem's overly burdensome requirement to personally sign off on contracts that are over $100,000, there was a delay in getting urban search and rescue teams to the area. Now, typically, it would take about 6 hours to move those people where they need to go, but because of her actions to personally sign off on these types of mission assignments, they didn't arrive until 72 hours late. Now, the administration will contend that, well, actually, they got there in 24 hours. But again, when you're dealing with these types of movements and these types of operations, every second counts. So every minute, every hour that you are running late to get there is an hour that you could have been in the water helping to find survivors.
And could you talk about the response to this letter and the attempts to silence FEMA employees?
Yeah, unfortunately, these responses are not surprising. We saw the same thing when brave people over at EPA stood up to the moves being made by this administration to silence them, putting people on administrative leave. Unfortunately, many of my colleagues, many of my brave colleagues from FEMA have also been placed on administrative leave. You know, I just want to say thank you to them for standing up, knowing that this type of thing could have happened. And I think another thing I want to point out to your listeners and to your viewers is how this represents the opposite of government efficiency that this administration claims is trying to take. You know, at EPA, they put those people on administrative leave. That means they're still getting paid by the federal government. And then they delayed that administrative leave for they extended that administrative leave 3 separate times. Again, at FEMA, we're seeing the same exact thing. They've placed these workers on administrative leave, which means they're still going to continue to be paid, but not be able to do the work that they're supposed to be doing on behalf of the American people. And I think I'd also add, in that same vein of government efficiency, of those 2,000 employees that have either taken the fork in the road or being laid off, many of them have also been placed on administrative leave. So the federal government is in effect paying people to not do their job. And that is a huge waste of government resources, especially when you consider a lot of these people had decades of experience leading the agency.
You know,
jobs were for servicing the American people. If you don't remember what he's talking about, 45, 47, throwing paper towels at the hurricane Maria in Puerto Rico, so crass, like he was going, like he was some celebrity guest to a tragedy. These people didn't, many of them lost everything, and they had no power and could not tell them when they would even be getting power again. Let me share this with you. If any of you forgot the callousness of this man when people are suffering, you think he give a fuck about you? You think he coming to save you with the National Guard? Now this is at a distribution center. There doesn't seem like much to distribute on these tables. Usually a distribution center is a big warehouse. So let's keep it clear. There is not much to distribute right here. I don't know if it's outside, but he's coming in like a fucking basketball superstar with these petly little rows of paper towels and sugar and look like a couple of pieces of meat over there. Let's continue. just in case you didn't remember,
Good evening.
I wanted to share that with you. Okay, let's go on. Now, also, I mean, I've shared with you on many occasions how 4547 has, and Jared Kushner had talked about Palestine being some good waterfront property, and they could go in there and build it up, and make it be something real fabulous. I've told you about that. I've also shared with you that Benjamin Netanyahu, along with 4547, who has America supporting everything that is done to these Palestinian people. If many people understand that this is a straight up genocide by Jews who want you to never forget when genocide was set upon them, but they have no problem killing children, and their own records show that they have killed 83% more civilians than Hamas. And they tell you that it is Hamas's fault because Hamas is hiding children in the hospitals, and they're using them as human shields. Well, if you know that, and it is to the point that you are killing 83% more civilians, you haven't figured out a way to change to change your military engagement. Well, you know you are not getting the results that you want, or are these the results that you actually want? We also be clear that Palantir, the one who set up JD Vance, is selling supposed defense drones and all this type of stuff to Israel to enable all of what's going on in Palestine. Let's be clear. So I want to share. You think that now he has said this about these people's land, and he's a real mealy mouth about what he thinks should be done with the Palestinian people. When they got hot and heavy about all of these Palestinians being shot at these aid sites that the U.S. and Israel put together four sites to feed these people. We remember they said that they had to create their own sites to feed the people because Hamas was stealing all the aid, but there had not been any aid. They had been on a starvation blockade against the Palestinian. But then all of a sudden, when they got too much heat for that and started sending aid back in, they couldn't let the regular humanitarian forces go in and feed the people of Palestine. No, what they had to do was the United States and Israel had to have their own organization where they fed the people. And then they brought in all of these mercenaries. And then Palestinians were being shot like rabbits when they were just going to get their food. Let's be clear about this. And then when that got too high, what did 4547 say when he was over in at his golf course? I think it was in Germany or wherever the fuck it was. He said, I could set up a feeding place for them easily where they can just walk up and grab the food. And he has never said anything else about that. Anything else about feeding the Palestinians, and the Palestinians are still being slaughtered as they try to feed themselves. Now, you wonder where I got my thumbnail from? Isn't this the shit that Kim Jong-un and Xi do put their big pictures on sides of buildings? If you did not know, 4547 has decided that he needs his mug on the side of the Department of Labor building in DC. You know, the Department of Labor that that he fired the woman who gave labor statistics that were not flattering to him. He decided to put his whole face on the side of that building. A nonpartisan position that just gives the facts. So he fired her from her job, and he put his picture on the building. Okay, a massive portrait of 4547 was draped over the Department of Labor building in Washington on Monday. It features 4547's second inaugural portrait, the logo for his America 250 initiative, and the slogan America Workers First. America Workers First. You mean all of those American workers who you let Elon Musk come in and fire? For no reason, for no cause, kind of like the CDC chair that you nominated and fired for no good cause. You mean like the governor of the governor? Oh, what is her name? Lisa Cook, that you fired for no cause. Let's continue. It features a second, it stretches across 3 stories of the building's window, flanked by an American flag and a portrait of Theodore Roosevelt carrying the same motto. Why it mattered. The massive portrait 4547 on the Department of Labor building carries significance because beyond its visual spectacle, highlighting concerns over the personalization of power and executive messaging, historically authoritarian leaders such as Joseph Stalin in the Soviet Union and Mao Zedong in China have used government buildings to project control and reinforce their images, and citing suggested Trump's display echoes this tradition. The banner also coincides with the recent labor and social policies rollback. And he actually says that this is a Trump for workers, as he's rolling back policies and securities of the American workforce, and shouting out America first. The portrait provoked reaction on social media, with some comparing the move to display it to those made by dictators. It looked like something I've seen before. Democratic Massachusetts Congressman Jim McGovern wrote on X, formerly Twitter, alongside an image of portraits of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Father Kim Jong the second, hanging in front of a large building. So if you don't know, that is what he's up to. Now let's get to this Palestinian situation. Let's get to now. Did you think that this administration is out to save you? You're sadly mistaken. So this administration is out to enrich itself. Let's see the dark path. Ex-State Department official blasts 4547 plans for post-war Gaza. There is a post-war plan. While he is still coming up to microphones saying that he's looking for a solution in Gaza only when asked. He's looking for a solution and he hopes it ends soon only when asked. He never brings it up. When asked, he is still out here pretending like he's looking for a solution for these people. Okay. Hey, Church Mouse. Thank you. I appreciate that, Church Mouse. So let's see what he's doing behind the scenes about his plans for Gaza, and why does he have plans for anything for Gaza other than ending the war? But is that his only plan for Gaza? Let's find out.
Nermeen Sheikh in New York, joined by Amy Goodman in Telluride, Colorado. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Nermeen, and welcome to our listeners, viewers, and readers around the country and around the world. Yes, this is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. Across Gaza, Israeli attacks killed at least 41 Palestinians since dawn today, including 3 people seeking aid in the so-called safe zone of Al-Mawasi. This comes as the Israeli army said today it will end a daily tactical pause in Gaza City that it announced last month for humanitarian purposes, saying the city now, quote, constitutes a dangerous combat zone. This is Mohammed Al-Adam, a displaced Palestinian in Gaza City.
What should we do? Do we stay here to die, to be broken? My 2 brothers died. My mother was martyred. My cousins were killed before my eyes. What should we do? We keep moving from one place to another until God above looks upon us.
As Israel pushes deeper into Gaza City, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres called its expanded military operation to seize area a new and dangerous phase.
Unbelievably, civilians are facing yet another deadly escalation. Israel's initial steps to military take over Gaza City signals a new and dangerous phase. Expanded military operations in Gaza City will have devastating consequences. Hundreds of thousands of civilians, already exhausted and traumatized, would be forced to flee yet again, plunging families into even deeper peril. This must stop.
As aid groups warn famine is absolutely ravaging Gaza City, Guterres said Israel is continuing to block UN-led humanitarian efforts and called the famine a, quote, result of deliberate decisions that defy basic humanity. This comes as President Trump met Wednesday to discuss plans for a post-war Gaza with his son-in-law and former Middle East envoy, Jared Kushner, and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair.
A post-war Gaza. He came together to discuss a post-war Gaza. Let's hear that again.
This comes as President Trump met Wednesday to discuss plans for a post-war Gaza with his son-in-law and former Middle East envoy, Jared Kushner, and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair. Blair stepped...
Now, I do not know enough about the British politics. I don't know what Tony Blair's reputation is or has been in any way, especially regarding this Gaza stuff. But I do know what 4547's position has been. Let me stop here and let me share with you what I have shared with you before about 45 and 47 and their position about Gaza. Here is 4547's most recent position since he's been back in the White House. There's another one I have played previously. I couldn't find it. I think he was on with Eric Erickson on his radio show talking about how beautiful it was, and he had never even gone to Gaza, but I digress. Here, let me hear you. Let me let you hear it.
Well, I think they should get, and I feel very differently about Gaza than a lot of people. I think they should get a good, fresh, beautiful piece of land, and we get some people to put up the money to build it and make it nice and make it habitable and enjoyable. And
they should get a good new piece of land, and they should get someone to build it and bring it up. They have land. They have a good, beautiful piece of land. So you and Jared Kushner said, why do they need to get other land? He's saying that they need to exterminate all the Palestinians off of their own land. This is what he's saying. Now, the reporter is trying to clear this up. Wait a minute. You mean land somewhere else?
And make it a home.
They don't want to leave, though. How can you say they don't want to leave?
I don't know how they could want to stay. It's a demolition site. It's a pure demolition site. If we could.
Okay, so it's a pure demolition site. It's a demolition site. I don't know how they can stay, but so Well, so that's all it is. Oh, usually after you demolish something, there is some rebuilding. Aren't you a builder? Okay, so this for them it's just a demolition site. Maybe we can get someone else to send money to build them up something somewhere else. Well, then couldn't we get someone to give money to build them right where they are in their home on their homeland? Don't that make sense to you? Does that not make sense to you? Let's continue. I'm not going to interrupt anymore.
Find the right piece of land or numerous pieces of land and build them some really nice places with plenty of money in the area, that's for sure. I think that would be a lot better than going back to Gaza, which has had just decades and decades of death.
Where would those pieces of land be?
Well, they could be in Jordan, and they could be in Egypt, and they could be in other places. You could have more than two, more than one, but you could have more than two. And you'd have people living in a place that could be very beautiful and safe and nice.
Well, they can be in Jordan and Egypt, a place very beautiful, very nice. Well, you're not suggesting that they make Palestine very beautiful and very nice. I do notice that you're not saying that Palestine can be rebuilt to be very beautiful, very nice for the Palestinian people.
Gaza's been a disaster for decades.
Would the U.S. pay for that?
I don't think the UN would pay, but I think there's plenty of people that would in the area. They have a lot of money. They certainly have a lot of money. Some of the countries over there, they'd like to see it. I know that Saudi Arabia wants to see peace. I can see that. And
it doesn't Saudi Arabia also want to see a two-state solution? All of these other people in the area have said that they want to see a two-state solution. You're not saying that, though. Let's continue.
Many of the countries there, as far as I'm concerned, they all want peace. I think, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think Iran would like to see peace too. They've had enough. Don't you think they've had enough?
Okay.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. We've got some breaking news just now on.
Okay, so the tariffs are illegal. Well, we knew that. They weren't. Oh, this is 1 hour ago. Wow. Let's see what this breaking news is. We knew the tariffs were illegal because tariffs are supposed to be put on by Congress. Now, this is 1 hour ago. I haven't heard this. I'm looking at the title, breaking news. Trump tariffs found illegal by U.S. appeals court.
Central economic policy of this Trump administration in a huge blow to the White.
Good. Now I can get the rest of my Temu little gadgets and stuff that I get for Temu. I was like, oh God, I ain't gonna be able to get. I don't want to buy Temu clothing. I buy art supplies, knitting supplies, not knitting, crocheting supplies and things like that. I buy my little art things from Temu. I may buy a little garden trinket or two from Temu. And let's see.
White House and its agenda, and a big win, I would say, for everyone else. A federal appeals court has just ruled that Trump's sprawling tariffs are unlawful and invalid. Of course, the president has been obsessed with imposing his willy-nilly tariffs on Americans. In fact, it has been the central plank of his entire economic agenda. Now, it has been wildly unpopular. It's polling underwater. It is costing consumers and corporations billions and billions of dollars by the day. It's stopping the Fed from cutting interest rates by driving inflation. It has, on the whole, been really bad economic policy. And most of the discussion of these tariffs have been focused on that. But there's also something about these tariffs, which is that from the jump, they've been pretty clearly illegal. I mean, think about it for a second. Can the president just by himself create tariffs that raise hundreds of billions of dollars with zero congressional input?
No.
These tariffs are a violation of the law that they purport to use as the justification, and a violation of the spirit of the Constitution of a country which was quite literally founded on the belief the executive cannot unilaterally just impose a tax without representation, specifically tariffs. Now, the Trump administration has claimed that its tariff regime and the reciprocal tariffs that it has, and those on China and Mexico and Canada, that those are an emergency measure under a 1974 law, and that made it legal. Well, when this was challenged in a district court, the district court judge said, no way, this does not comport with the law. So the Department of Justice, acting as Trump's lawyers, appealed. And now, just 20 minutes ago, in a huge development, an appellate court has just upheld that ruling 7-4, the federal appellate circuit, saying it is illegal. All the tariffs you're citing are illegal. The emergency you claim is not a valid basis to break the law. Neil Kochel argued this case on behalf of the plaintiffs who just emerged victorious. He previously served as acting Solicitor General of the United States, and he joins me now. Neil, frame the argument.
Okay, so all the tariffs are illegal. It's been upheld by a appellate court judge, and we know that he will be taking it to this weak-ass Supreme Court judge, the Supreme Court that basically gives him everything he wants, and he will use it. He will go under some type of emergency that he has to meet with the Supreme Court, and they will take the case. They will hear the case. Now, the Supreme Court has something on their docket, and the earliest that they can put it on the docket is the second week of October, when they come off of their break, and what they will be hearing. What the Supreme Court will be hearing. Now, Louisiana, of all people, you know, where Hurricane Katrina happened, Louisiana had redid their district, and they relined their districts, and they took all of the black voting block district out by gerrymandering their maps. They were taken to court, and they were found that what they did was illegal. It was illegal to tear apart these historic black voting blocks, and they were told. I think they gerrymandered it. Did they? They either changed it from 2 voting blocks to 1, or they took both of them. But they were told that they had to make 2 black districts, and they had to reconfigure their maps. And then so that's what the ruling was. What they had done was illegal. And then some white people brought a case saying that it is illegal to redraw maps based on race. It was illegal for them to redraw maps based upon race when they stole all the voting population from different districts. But hey, we got it all white, so you can't take all the whiteness from us. So this is what was argued, that they're doing it because of race. Now, are we not? We're gonna pretend like that makes sense, and are we gonna pretend like we didn't know that Pam Bondi wrote a letter to the Texas branch of government, and told them that they needed to get the 5 seats based on getting disrupting these black swath of voters. They needed to tear up the black districts. She wrote that in a letter. So, and she specifically said that they needed to redraw these maps based on race. Now, why does all of this matter? This is Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act that says that you cannot tear up a historically black voting bank because you want to disrupt it because of race. Now, it hadn't gone to the Supreme Court, but now it is in the Supreme Court because the white people are saying they're doing it because of race. How ironic. So the Supreme Court, we know that Justice Thomas, not Justice, well, him too. We know the what is his name? The head Supreme Court guy, Justice Roberts, he would like nothing more than to just crushed the Voting Rights Act. So the second week of October, look for that to come forward. Now let's get back to this Palestinian land. So we saw what 47 said about the Palestinian land, and that it would be good if they go to someone else. Now let's see what Jared Kushner had said previously. I've played this for you a couple of times. I'm going to play it for you again. Let me remove this comment first. Okay, let's see what Jared Kushner has said about the Palestinian land. This is what was this? I think this was in 45, 47 first term, or a little bit after his first term.
Arabs, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of them, who think once Gazans leave Gaza, Netanyahu's never going to let them back in.
Maybe, but I'm not sure there's much left of Gaza at this point. And Gaza's waterfront property, it could be very valuable to, if people would focus on kind of building up.
Maybe, but there's not much left of Gaza at this point. So why would they want to come back? And he goes right into that it's great waterfront property if people would build up what?
Livelihoods. You think about all the money that's gone into this tunnel network and into all the munitions, if that would have gone into education or innovation, done. And so I think that it's a little bit of an unfortunate situation there, but I think from Israel's perspective, I would do my best to move the people out and then clean it up. But I don't think that Israel has stated that they don't want the people to move back there afterwards.
There are real fears on the part of.
Okay, I would clean the place up and move them out of there, but Israel didn't say they didn't want them out of there totally. They have now. Okay, so let's continue about this dark path that Israel is on with Gaza, and let's see how, or if the Americans figure into this in any way. Let's finish this. So I want you to know that while they're saying whatever they want to tell you, let's listen.
Down as Prime Minister in 2007 and went on to serve as UN Middle East envoy until 2015. Last month, it was reported that staff members of his think tank, the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change, had joined Israeli business leaders in developing a post-war Gaza plan that included the creation of a Trump Riviera and a manufacturing zone named after Elon Musk, using
a Trump Riviera and a zone named after Elon Musk. This is Tony Blair's think tank. This is what they're thinking. So Tony Blair, 45, 47, and Jared Kushner have gotten together to create some type of post-war Palestinian state. With what? With what again?
The Tony Blair Institute went on to serve as UN Middle East envoy until 2015. Last month, it was reported that staff members of his think tank, the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change, had joined Israeli business leaders in developing a post-war Gaza plan that included the creation of a Trump Riviera and a manufacturing zone named after Elon Musk, using financial models developed by the U.S. firm Boston Consulting Group. Meanwhile, Jared Kushner has previously praised Gaza's potentially, quote, very valuable waterfront property. In February, Trump called for a U.S. takeover of Gaza and shared an AI-generated video depicting the territory as a luxury beach resort called Trump Gaza.
Donald is coming to set you free, bringing the light for all to see. No more tunnels, no more fear. Trump Gaza is finally here. Trump Gaza shining bright, a golden future, a brand new light.
Well, for more, we're joined in London by Josh Paul, a veteran State Department official who worked on arms deals and resigned in protest of the push to increase arms sales to Israel amid its assault on Gaza. He's a former director in the Bureau of Political Military Affairs
You're also going to learn in this segment that a developer pulled out of the deal, hearing what they wanted to turn Palestine in, because they said that they could not do any of the things that they were planning to do in Palestine without breaking laws, UN laws. The first developer company that they were talking about doing this with.
In the State Department, worked for 11 years. He's now a director at a new policy, the lobbying organization he co-founded with fellow resignee Tariq Habash to press for a change in U.S. policy on Palestine and Israel. Josh Paul also worked with Tony Blair when Blair was Quartet Special Envoy for Middle East Peace, and Paul was an advisor for the U.S. Security Coordinator. Josh Paul, welcome back to Democracy Now! So if you could comment on this meeting that took place earlier this week between Trump, Blair, and Jared Kushner, and to what extent, in fact, it echoes what Kushner had said earlier last year, and Trump said earlier this year about converting Gaza into a Riviera and essentially expelling all Palestinians from the territory.
Yes, thank you very much for having me. Look, at the end of the day, this is a nightmarish example of profits over people. What you have with Kushner and Blair is a combination of the corrupt and the feckless. And I say that having worked with Tony Blair, as you say, when he was Quartet Special Advisor, and seen how he prioritized pie-in-the-sky economic programs over the real political progress that needs to be made to allow any sort of Palestinian economic development and reconstruction. Worse than that, they are intimately tied into this Gaza Riviera project, which, you know, is reliant ultimately on the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians. And that's the reason that the Boston Consulting Group, which had played a part in developing it, not only withdrew from the project, but fired some of the consultants who had been involved, precisely because there is no way to advance this project without violating international law. So it is a deeply concerning development, and I think shows the continuing path that Israel and other partners of its in the Middle East, other corporate partners, and certainly Misters Kushner and Blair are trying to take Gaza on. It's a dark path.
Okay, you can this link is in my description box. You can go to my description box and listen to the rest of this. Okay, now they were saying they could send them to, they can live very good. They would send them, they could go to Egypt or Jordan or somewhere else. They said that they could live very good. So now we are clear that they are talking about taking the Palestinians off of their land by death or by taking them to another nation. Now, let me make, yeah, you're seeing this. Axios is reporting July 28. Israel seeks U.S. help on deals to move Gaza Palestinians out of Gaza. This is Axios article. And where is some of these fabulous places to send the Palestinian people are they negotiating with? Let's find out. The director of Israel's Mossad spy agency visited Washington this week seeking U.S. help in convincing countries to take hundreds of thousands of Palestinians from Gaza. Two sources with knowledge of issue tells Axios. The spy chief, David Barina, told White House envoy Steve Witkoff that Israel has been speaking in particular with Ethiopia, Indonesia, and Libya. It says, are these fabulous places, these war-torn places that they can go and build up something fabulous in Libya? Why has Israeli government goals of removing much of the Gaza population is hugely controversial, while Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government claims such a relocation would be voluntary. U.S. and Israeli legal experts has labeled it a war crime. Behind the scenes, in their meetings earlier this week, Bartner told Witkoff. Now, Witkoff, I want you to remember that Witkoff, son has a deal with the Beavis and Buttheads of the White House, 4547 sons, and they are doing making money off of crypto. If you don't know, they are making money in this administration. Witkoff's son, in particular, apart from his father. All of this nepotism and money and wealth, as they are talking about taking people off their land. Okay. Behind the scenes, in their meetings earlier this week, Barina told Witkoff that Ethiopia, Indonesia, and Libya has expressed openness to receiving large numbers of Palestinians from Gaza. The two sources say. Now, so they say that become a open slave trade market. That's what is said about Libya. And so, what will they these countries that are in dire need of wealth, will they get some money to take them on and then do with them as they will? Will they just get lost in Libya? Okay. Witkoff was non-committal, and it is not clear if the U.S. will actively weigh in on this issue, one source said. They're going to weigh in on it, but they may not weigh in on it publicly. The White House and Israeli Prime Minister office and the foreign ministries of Ethiopia, Indonesia, and Libya did not respond to requests for comment prior to publication. Flashback. In February 4547 proposed the removal of all 2 million Palestinians from Gaza to rebuild the enclave. But the White House cooled on that idea after getting significant pushback from Arab countries, U.S. officials said, and it hasn't gone anywhere. Israeli officials said that the enclave that he wanted to rebuild was that Trump thing, and that's when he sent out that AI meme of the must Trump New Palestine. Israeli officials said that the 4547 administration told them that if Netanyahu wants to pursue the idea, Israel needs to find countries that are willing to take Palestinians from Gaza. Netanyahu tasked Israeli Mossad Foreign Intelligence Agency with finding countries that would agree to receive large numbers of Palestinians displaced from the Gaza Strip. The big picture: nearly every Palestinian in Gaza has been displaced during the war, often multiple times. Most buildings in Gaza have been damaged or destroyed. Israel has been developing a plan for moving all 2 million residents of the enclave to small humanitarian zones near the border within Egypt. Okay, so if you didn't know, if you think that 4547 got the military on the street to save you, I don't know what to tell you. I just don't know what to tell you. They are sacrificing cow, preparing for the rapture. They want Palestine to die. Yes, they are. That's exactly what they're doing. So I wanted to share that with you. I heard a couple of conversations about what's going on in the United States, and it's my opinion that a lot of people are speaking off of feelings rather than facts. I had most of this pinned up to share with you guys today, but it would behooves of you to understand what this government is. Now, I fumbled over what's going on in Louisiana. This is the attorney that sued Louisiana first for marking out the black districts in Louisiana. I would let him retell this story properly, how they are trying to take away the black vote in Louisiana. Now, I played with you yesterday how all of this remapping these maps are making white votes count more than black votes. So among the people who don't even bother to vote, the people who are bothering to vote, they want their votes to count less. So if you think that voting doesn't matter, why are they trying to make the people who actually get out and vote, their vote count less and the white vote count more? Okay, so here is the 5-alarm fire major update on the top case at the Supreme Court. This bald guy is, I think it's Mark Ailes. He is the attorney who filed the case against Louisiana for rezoning their maps and taking the black district out of the map.
This is Democracy Watch. Mark, we have spoken about a case that is so important that's coming up in the U.S. Supreme Court, and that is this case as it relates to Louisiana's redistricting, their maps, that may or may not completely gut Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And so every black majority district, every opportunity district in this country, in Florida, in Louisiana, in Alabama, in Texas, all of those rely on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act being upheld. Right now, the Supreme Court is preparing to hear arguments on Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, and those arguments begin on October 15th. So it's early in that term. The worry, of course, is that if the Supreme Court does decide to gut Section 2, that can mean all of these Republican states can yet again redraw these maps and draw out all of these black majority districts and Hispanic majority districts that are in compliance with Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. We now have an update as far as this case is concerned in Louisiana. Can you explain what just happened?
Yeah, this is a full-blown crisis for democracy that everyone needs to pay attention to. Republicans are shameless around the country, but the gutlessness of the Republicans in Louisiana may now exceed even that of the states that we usually talk about. The state of Louisiana was sued by my law firm and others for enacting a congressional map that created one black opportunity district when the law clearly required them to draw two. After they were sued and lost, they then did the right thing and they reconvened their legislature and they drew a new map. And that map was legally compliant. It created a second black opportunity district. The group of white or at least non-minority plaintiffs brought a lawsuit that went to the U.S. Supreme Court. We all expected the Supreme Court to summarily dismiss it. Instead, they took the case. But the state of Louisiana did the right thing. It stood up and defended its map. Well, now that the Supreme Court wants to rehear that case and wants the fate of Section 2 to be called into question. And now that the Trump administration is no longer defending Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, Donald Trump has instructed his Department of Justice to do what past presidents would never do, which is to walk away from a federal law. Walk away from defending a federal law that's been on the books since 1965. They have walked away from it, and the state of Louisiana has now followed suit. That's right. The state of Louisiana is now taking the position that the map they drew, the map that they voted for, should be struck down as a violation of section of the Constitution, and that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act should be obliterated. This is an absolutely disgraceful moment for the history of Louisiana. It is an absolute five-alarm fire for democracy, and it is something we all need to be paying attention to.
How can the DOJ go into court and not uphold the law, as it's written? How can they take the position that the law that they're charged to enforce is somehow the opposite position that they're going to take?
Look, this is one of the scandals of the Trump administration that the legacy media has not paid attention to. I mean, I will be arguing a different case later this year involving a campaign finance law that has been on the books since 1974.
Right.
Okay, which the Supreme Court upheld in 1976 and then upheld again in the early 2000s. So this law has been defended by the Department of Justice over and over again, as has Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. I mean, the Department of Justice has probably litigated, 50, 60 cases in the Supreme Court in one posture or another involving Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. And now all of a sudden in both of these cases, The Trump Justice Department said, you know what, Supreme Court, we think this is no longer good law. We think it should be struck down as unconstitutional. It is absolutely dereliction of duty. It is the kind of thing that in a normal world would be a front page scandal. But of course, the legacy media doesn't do anything like that now. It's left to people like you and I to cover that. Democracy Docket.
And I to cover it and spread the word.
News outlet I followed has.
Because we know that person who was sitting over there as politics were talked and sat quiet as a church mouse is not going to spread the word because she knows no word to spread. She knows no information that is worth a nickel or a nail to give the black people who may run across one of their programs. There is nothing of worth or value that they can even enunciate about their own state. Catch.
Been covering this. We actually broke the news about this Louisiana case, and it is something you and I have been covering from the beginning and now continuing to cover. But this should be of concern to everyone who cares about democracy, everyone who cares about voting rights, but really anyone who cares about the rule of law.
This really is the biggest case in the country. You did mention that.
Okay, so why does this matter? This is Louisiana. I know, but this is a federal case, and once this federal case has gone to the highest case in the land, it has repercussions for every state. So that's why it matters.
You were the first to break the story. That's how I found out about it. Again, to Mark's exact point, if you're not yet signed up for Democracy Docket, I'm going to put the link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. If you are looking for any news outlet, any independent outlet to support, let it be this one. Mark, more broadly as it relates to Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, can you speak about the importance of the Supreme Court deciding to put this on their calendar on October 15th, which is right at the beginning of this Supreme Court term?
Yeah, really important.
Because it's going to impact the midterms. Whatever they rule on this, it gives other states, if they rule that they can black out all black districts in this ruling, it will, no, usually it takes a while for their rulings to come back, but if they are going to take away Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, I'm pretty sure that this will come back quite swiftly, allowing all of these red states to do the same and nullify the black vote. That's my answer to that question.
Point, Brian, which is that they have scheduled this for the second week of their term, like right at the very beginning. And we are obviously entering into a midterm elections. We're obviously entering into a midterm elections in which Republicans have shown a shameless willingness to re-gerrymander maps to their advantage. And the idea that the Supreme Court could strike down, potentially, if they do so, the Voting Rights Act and affect dozens and dozens, scores of congressional districts around the country, would now no longer be protected from being redrawn and black voters being disenfranchised, would be just terrifying. And the fact that they have this case argued early in the term would mean that they could decide it in January. Remember, Citizens United was a decision handed down by the Supreme Court after re-argument, after it was re-argued early in the term. And that decision was handed down on January 10th of 2010. An election year. And what it meant was that in that election, in that midterm election, big money poured in to have a really big impact. Democrats lost a ton of seats in that midterm election. Yeah. And
okay, so this link is in my description box. If you don't think, no, they don't care about you who don't care about yourself. They know they don't have to care about you. They know that you are going to walk around uneducated about the things that matter. They care about the people that get up off their asses and vote and have understand how important their vote is and understand that their actual vote matters. If they don't care about a motherfucker sitting up here arguing about their feelings, they're doing what they want to do. So all of the like they Richard Wolff said in the beginning, all of this other shit is just theater for them. And they do it because they want to have you afraid. Do you think that they're when they put these National Guards out on the street, that they will not be intimidating people to go out and make their vote? We're not talking about you as an individual. We're talking about these old people who just want to stay out of the fray. Why do you think he's trying to ban mail-in ballot on top of having troops in the street? You got to see the water. You got to see, what is it? I can't see the water for the trees. You have to learn how to see the water for the trees. Okay, let me share this with you too. I don't know if I shared this with you. Let me share this with you about Social Security and why it matters. I gave you all the information yesterday about how these rich tech guys need your data. So let's talk about your Social Security data. That Doge put on a unsecure server that only they can access, and whoever else they give permission to access it. Let's continue.
History. That's how our next guest is the greatest theft of personal data in U.S. history. That's how our next guest is describing the extent to which Donald Trump and Elon Musk's so-called Department of Government Efficiency have recklessly compromised the data of millions of Americans. A new whistleblower complaint filed by Social Security Administration Chief Data Officer Charles Borges alleges that Doge workers violated the law in copying the Social Security data of more than 300 million Americans to an unsecured cloud system which only they control, that, quote, apparently lacks any security oversight from the Social Security Administration or tracking to determine who's accessing or has accessed the copy of this data. These actions constitute violations of laws, rules and regulations, abuse of authority, gross mismanagement, and creation of substantial and specific threat to public safety and health. The Numerical Identification System database contains the name, place, and date of birth, citizenship, race, and ethnicity, and parents' names of all individuals who've been issued a Social Security number. The complaint lays out the consequences this way, quote, should bad actors gain access to this cloud environment, Americans may be susceptible to widespread identity theft, may lose vital health care and food benefits, and the government may be responsible for reissuing every American new Social Security numbers at great cost. Joining us now, Martin O'Malley served as the commissioner of the Social Security Administration under President Biden. He was also the governor of Maryland. Good to see you again. Thank you for being with us tonight. I think we need to talk about, outside the abstract, the very specific risks and things that we can do about this. What in your opinion, is the most dangerous part of this?
Ollie, there are so many things. I mean, if there is going to be any sort of action like this, and this is the largest one that the agency's ever been forced to do. I mean, I do believe that this is the greatest taking of personal identifying data in U.S. history. Greatest theft, pirating away, whatever you want to call it. In any sort of access to the personal identifying data of Americans, there is always required risk assessments to be done in an excruciatingly detailed way. Risk assessments on the cybersecurity risk assessments on privacy risk assessments on the fraud risk. None of that appears to be done in this case. And it's not according to some low-level employee at Social Security. It is according to the chief data officer of the largest domestic program in the United States of America, a naval veteran, decorated, who has done several tours of duty protecting the information of Americans in other departments. So this is stunning. Yeah. This has never been done before. And Ali, what is the reason? I mean, every night,
what
that
is the
same
reason?
data is backed up in Charlotte and in Colorado Springs.
Yeah,
So
nobody
why
needed
do
an
they
extra
need
copy
to
of this.
Take it away.
Nobody needed an extra copy of this. I want to read a little bit from the complaint. According to the New York Times, they say the complaint includes documents that showing Doge leaders sought to upload the data despite warnings that they could be exposing Americans' personal information. Quote,
They knew that they could be exposing the information, and they did it anyway.
Have determined the business need is higher than the security risk associated.
The business. So, in answer to that, who is I? A Doge, Musk, Silicon Valley sycophant said, I have determined the business needs is higher than the security risks associated with this implementation. I accept all risks, wrote Aram Moskosasi or something, who worked with two of Musk's companies, X and Neuralink, before becoming Social Security's Chief Information Officer, a July 18th memo. So, if anything happens to your data, if you go to retire and you don't have the points accredited to you that you are supposed to have in Social Security, he takes all full responsibility and he accepts all the risks, whoever he is. Now, a whistleblower reported this. You would not. Your government didn't tell you that this was going to happen. A whistle reporter, who was in charge of the data, reported that all of this information is on a unsafe server, which they know has not been vetted for any type of security breach. But rest assured, somebody who worked at X and Neuralink said that. He has determined the business need is higher than the security risk associated with this implementation. Now, what business need is there attached to having all of my Social Security information? What business need is there? What is the business need in this? What is the business need in any of this? Could it be the business of giving these AI bros all of the Americans' personal information? Is that the business link in doing this? Catch. While you think, while people out here thinking that they putting a National Guard in the streets to protect you from crime. No, they putting the National Guards on the street because they know when they get done, you guys are going to be so fucking through that you're going to want to rise up and protest. It's in Project 2025. It ain't about It's not about policing the streets. It's about policing you from doing what the Constitution says that you can protest your government. That's why they are in the street. Give a fuck about crime? They don't give a fuck about you. You think they got these people in the street to protect you?
Associated with the implementation, and I accept all risks, end quote, wrote Aram Mogadesi, who worked at two of Mr. Musk's companies, X and Neuralink, before becoming Social Security's Chief Information Officer in a July 15th memo. So this random person, Aram Mogadesi, an Elon Musk employee, has said, I have determined the business need is greater than the security risk associated with the implementation, and I accept all risks. Well, first of all, I hope if there's a lawsuit, somebody finds him because he's said he's accepted all risks. What business need overcomes the risk need of not giving my information out or not losing my information?
Yeah, hard to determine. I mean, it would be nice if he could accept the risk, but Ali, he's not the one accepting the risk. he's putting the risk on the American people. Then in this largest pirating away of our personal data, that all of us are susceptible. And people warn.
And it's against the law to just steal our personal data. How about that? What about that law that nobody can just go in and steal our personal data? All right, the link is in my description box. Go over there and check out the rest of this video. I was just trying to let you be aware that you may have worked all of your life and get ready to retire and or set Social Security, and you may not have 0 points connected to you and your retirement. So and who pays into Social Security? This is not a this is not a welfare type program. This is not a, what do they try to call an entitlement. You pay into your Social Security. That's your money. So I wanted to share that with you. If you don't know, 4547 has officially fired the chair of the CDC.
Centers for Disease Control and Prevention headquarters in Atlanta this week to protest the forced departure of several senior health leaders and to call for the protection of science from political interference. Demonstrators carried signs reading "CDC saves lives" and "You are heroes," rallying behind colleagues they say were dismissed or pressured to resign after resisting White House directives on vaccines and conspiratorial public health policy. The demonstration followed a turbulent series of events that have shaken the agency. On Wednesday, the White House abruptly fired CDC Director Susan Monarez, who had been in the role for less than a month. Within hours, several top deputies, Dr. Deborah Oury, Dr. Dimitri Dakalikis, Dr. Daniel Jernigan, and Dr. Jennifer Layden tendered their resignations.
I think vaccines save lives. I think that we need to continue to support the promotion of utilization of vaccines.
This morning, the four were escorted off the campus, a move some staff described as needlessly humiliating.
We'll confirm that we let go Susan Monarez yesterday. I'm not going to talk about personnel issues, but the CDC is an agency that is very troubled.
For many inside the agency, Monarez...
it's very troubled because they have your anti-vax, anti-science ass over the CDC. That's why it's a very troubled place.
As his dismissal marked breaking point. Oury, who served as deputy director and chief medical officer, told reporters that she and her colleagues left because they no longer believed scientific leadership could be protected. We were going to see if she could weather the storm, she said. When she was forced out, we knew the politics had taken over, and we were done. The leadership shakeup comes as the CDC is still reeling from an armed attack on its Atlanta headquarters earlier this year, when a gunman fired hundreds of rounds into the building before killing a local police officer. Staff say morale has been further eroded by growing political pressure from the Trump regime, particularly regarding vaccines. The White House confirmed that Monarez's firing stemmed from her refusal to align with the administration's health priorities. A lawyer representing her called the dismissal unlawful, noting that
shouldn't the administration's health priorities be governed by the doctors and the sciences that he have in our health and human services and CDC? Shouldn't that be the parameters? Isn't that why we hire these people? Because I don't recall 4547 being a medical doctor. I don't recall excuse me. Oh, I'm sounding like room shaker. I don't recall RFK Jr. Being a medical professional.
She was informed of her termination by personnel staff and not by Donald Trump himself. Monarez has declined public comment, but colleagues say she consistently resisted orders that clashed with science. According to Dr. Richard Besser, a former acting CDC director who spoke with her the day before she was fired, Monarez had vowed not to do anything illegal or against the evidence. One flashpoint was her refusal to automatically approve recommendations from a newly reconstituted vaccine advisory panel. In June, Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. dismissed the long-standing Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, which for decades has guided CDC vaccine policy. He replaced its members with individuals skeptical of vaccines and shut out several major medical groups that had previously participated. Menares attempted to strengthen transparency by ensuring data and slide presentations were posted well ahead of meetings and that sessions were open to public comment. Senior health officials at the Department of Health and Human Services rejected those changes, summoning her to Washington earlier this week. Shortly afterward, her firing was announced.
You mean to tell me you want us to, we have changed the vaccination scheduling, and you are asking us for documentation, data, or facts as to why? We just can't mumble out some anti-vaxxer bullshit. You want facts, evidence, data? You're fired, bitch.
It would be hard to continue without feeling that as a physician, I have compromised my Hippocratic oath. I said first do no harm, and I feel like CDC is being weaponized, and I can't be a party to weaponizing something to hurt people. So yeah, I think but I also want to say us residing together, it's a red flag. It's a red flag for Congress. It's a red flag for America.
With global measles.
It's most definitely a red flag. And what is the biggest red flag out there? That people think that the National Guards on the street is there to protect them when the goddamn CDC and the Health and Human Services don't give a fuck about your life. And that is their job. The military job ain't never been to preserve the life of the American people. The military job is to defeat a foe. And why are they on the United States streets? Because they are creating the foe to be the United States people. And you think that the military is on the street to protect you? Is that what you people think? You talk about the police force. The police force has the mayors and all of these other people have underfunded the police without connecting the dots to the federal dollars that have been taken away from different black cities. So y'all can take y'all black asses out here and blame the fucking black mayor and black governors.
Cases climbing more than 20% in a single year. The prospect of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a longtime vaccine skeptic shaping U.S. health policy, has deeply alarmed public health experts. Kennedy.
Okay, this link is in my description box, and let me tell you why. It's just comical that you guys are out here thinking that this administration cares about you. I think it is this one. Let me see. No. Oh, here we go. So, come to find out, disturbing footage leaks as sickly 4547 busted using a fake doctor. He is pretending like that. What they call him, the Candy Man. He was busted in his last administration, passing out pills to the White House staff. And come to find out, and he is the one who is coming out saying that 4547 is so fit, he'll live to be 200 years old. He is the fittest man he's ever known. Candy Man. Candyman, taking, popping pills like candy. He was giving a medication out, and he had to, when it got leaked, 45, 47 had to get a new White House doctor. But come to find out, he is still pretending as if, I think his name is Robert Johnson, is his doctor. Now, I did not even know that this Johnson man's medical his medical license expired in 2024. But here we are in 2025. 45 is 47. It's pretending like this is his medical doctor. Let's continue.
Doctor in order to try to make it look like Donald Trump's health is of no concern. And that, to me, is the clearest sign that there is something seriously wrong with the President of the United States. And we just saw yesterday that Donald Trump had a clear cognitive problem that there's no other way to describe what's happening than he's losing his mind.
How bad it is. Everybody standing there knows. We know. You don't have to be doing any studies. They should be saying, please come in. Pritzker should be saying that. I did a favor for Christy, Whitmer. A good favor, I think.
Christy Whitmer, he clearly was trying, he knew who he wanted to say, but the words didn't match what was in his head. And even when he tried fixing it, he couldn't. Now, of course, we all speak. We all mess up when we speak. I do that all the time on this channel. The difference is we're not 79 years old. We're not showing up with bruises on our hands. We're not having a hard time walking. This just came out. This is Midas Touch that showed us this. Donald Trump has been constantly dragging his leg. As you see here, it's as if there's been some sort of traumatic event, and this is the byproduct of it. We don't know what happened. And we are probably never going to know what happened because Donald Trump calls himself the most transparent president in American history. But let's be honest, they haven't been able to show us anything about this. And now they're trying to push this fake doctor in order to say that Donald Trump is healthier than ever. Let me introduce you to Ronnie Jackson, who the Trump administration is now trying to say is able to adequately diagnose the president of the United States. One problem is Trump's doctor, Ronnie Jackson, let his medical license expire in 2020, and he's still treating Trump anyways. Now, this is during the assassination when Donald Trump had this ear, apparently like the fastest healing ear in American history. Donald Trump had Ronnie
2020. I thought it was 2024. My bad. He hasn't had a medical license since 2020, and he is coming out here allegedly being a shot in the ear and telling you what Dr. No medical degree having Johnson has said about his ear with that big ass posted size bandage on his ear. Did you know that?
Jackson fix it, and you might remember that he had that insane bandage that was not necessary. That's Ronnie Jackson. As you can see here, he let his medical license expire in July 2024. A little bit more about Ronnie Jackson, who is just
that's why I thought that it was 2024. He said 2020 at first. It is 2024, July of 2024.
Great character. He was demoted. He was a Navy vet, and he was demoted after a probe looked into his inappropriate behavior. Jackson is no longer a retired admiral. The Navy demoted him in July 2022 following a damaging Pentagon Inspector General's report that substantiated allegations about his inappropriate behavior. I'm going to tell you about in just a second. As a White House physician, a previously unreported decision confirmed by a current defense official.
Hold up. You know what? Between me and you, I think that there was some instances where he was trying to grab him by the bussies as well. Let's find out.
and a former U.S. official who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss a sensitive personnel move. Despite the demotion, Jackson has continued to refer to himself as a retired rear admiral, but he's not. He's not. And the Navy has reclassified him as a retired captain. But Donald Trump and other Republicans have continued to describe him with his former rank. And
So he lost rank, and he's still what do they call that, stolen valor? Is he still out here lying about his rank? And 45, 47 is too. Didn't a poor black man just get shot in the chest by an entitled white man about stolen valor? I shared that with you guys. Isn't valor something that is supposed to be taken so seriously? Let's continue.
outcome of that is that there's more than $15,000 of a difference in annual pension payouts for a retired one-star admiral versus the rank that Ronnie Jackson now has. The reason why this happened, I was actually really shocked to hear this. Shocked? I don't know. Surprised? I don't know. Disturbed. A Navy official confirmed that the service took unspecified action against Jackson in the wake of the 2021 Inspector General's report, which, by the way, Donald Trump has fired many of the Inspector Generals who are independent and really just there to help fight corruption and shit like this. But they found that Jackson berated subordinates in the White House medical unit, made sexual and denigrating statements about a female subordinate, consumed alcohol inappropriately with subordinates, and consumed the sleep drug Ambien while on duty as a president's physician. Oh my God. At the time of the report, Jackson was classified.
This is who is patching up 45, 47 and sending him out here, saying that he will live to be 200 years old.
By the Navy as a rear admiral, a one-star admiral, that is distinct from the two-star rear admiral position. That is incredibly hard to say for some reason. Okay, so that is the person, Ronnie Jackson, who, by the way, was pinned down by police a couple of years ago because he was trying to help someone and the police were like, stop it. And they literally handcuffed him. This is not a guy with a great character. Not a great character. But anyway, Ronnie Jackson was pulled out from under a rock, squirming, so that he could say that the president, 79, is healthy. Jackson was Trump's first White House physician who claimed the president could, quote, live to 200. Doctors. When Trump nominated Jackson to lead the Department of Veterans Affairs, he was forced to withdraw over allegations he handed out prescription drugs like candy, earning him the moniker, quote, Candyman. He was later stripped of his rank, as I told you about earlier. He also let his medical license expire, as I said. Now, the White House dramatically admitted in July that Trump has chronic venous insufficiency after questions about his severely swollen ankles. Questions have also been raised over his gait as he veered severely from side to side, as I showed you, with Russian strongman Vladimir Putin. So there was that, and there's also this newer clip. And about why both his hands are heavily bruised. Quote, this is Ronnie Jackson speaking. As President Trump's former physician to the president and former personal physician and White House physician for 14 years across 3 administrations, I can tell you unequivocally, President Donald Trump is the healthiest president this nation has ever seen. The quote continues, I continue to consult with his current physician and medical team at the White House and still spend significant time with the president. He is mentally and physically sharper than ever before, and his use of the verse consult raises questions about whether he has accessed medical information. And of course, the White House said when asked for comment that this is the most transparent president in American history. I'll let you.
Okay, let's see Ronnie Jackson at this fair. I came across this. I didn't know that I would ever need to share this with my audience. I came across this excuse me, maybe a year or two ago. let's look at Ronnie Jackson at the fair on some body cam footage. Y'all want to see that? I want to see that again.
Safety released body cam and dash camera footage of Congressman Ronnie Jackson being detained at a rodeo on July 29th. According to a witness, Jackson was handcuffed and placed on the ground while he was trying to assist a teenager in medical distress.
When multiple officers asked you to get back in the EMS...
Nobody asked me to get
yes,
back.
They did.
No, they didn't.
Yes,
I was talking to her about her blood sugar and her blood pressure. You were the first mother to say something to me. The first one. Nobody did.
The parents didn't want either of y'all there. We were trying.
Nobody said something to me. Nobody.
In a previous statement to CNN, Jackson's spokesperson said that the congressman was briefly detained during the incident and was immediately released when officers realized he was tending to a medical emergency. But a new report from the sheriff of Carson County, Texas, describes Jackson's behavior that night as aggressive and threatening, and says the congressman repeatedly ignored warnings to get back.
You and I gotta agree. I was just trying to help, dude. Okay. It has nothing to do with who I am or what I do. I was a yard dog, man.
Okay, let me speak. I know you were there to help, right? But I got EMS coming on scene. I got multiple parents.
Nobody was there yet, though.
Yes, they were.
No, they weren't. They were just rolling up as I was standing there.
Jackson previously served as the White House physician for Presidents Barack
Doesn't he sound drunk? Let's continue.
Obama and Donald Trump. In 2020, he was elected to represent the 13th Congressional District in Texas.
I went to 4 years of medical school and 4 years of residency.
I'm trying to tell you, when somebody tells you to get back, you get
Nobody
back.
told me to get back.
I did. I had to tell you twice. I had to
No,
raise my
you told
voice
me.
the second
You
time.
rolled in and you freaking just like, get the out.
No, I said get back. Nobody
You know what?
listened. I told
I'm
you
going to
get back
call
a
the
second
governor
time.
tomorrow and I'm going to talk to him about this because this is ridiculous.
CNN has reached out to the governor's office for comment. In a statement to CNN, a spokesperson for Jackson said that he was asked to help the teenager when no other uniformed medics were present, and
No,
that
he
Congressman
lied.
Jackson, as a trained ER physician, will not apologize for sparing no effort to help in a medical emergency.
A entitled white man close to power. This is how he chose to act. There's that. Let me see. Let me play this one. I don't like her depiction of what happened. Where's the sound? No sound.
No, I asked you to get back.
No, you did not. You came in, you flew in, and you were a fucking full-on dick.
I did ask you to get back, and you did not get back.
You better recalculate, motherfucker.
Multiple people asked you to get back.
No, nobody asked me to get back.
Yes,
but you.
this lady did.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. Everybody here asked you to get back.
Okay, there's Ronnie Jackson. There is Ronnie Jackson. Hey, Renee. I gotta go, Ronnie Q. I'll catch the rest on replay. Have a good evening, everyone. You have a great evening and a great weekend, Renee. It is always good to see you. Okay, so there is a couple of more things, and I have a quiz for you guys. I have a quiz. Now, did you guys hear about spies being caught over in Greenland? 4547 has sent some spies to Greenland. You know, when he first came in office, he said that he was going to own Greenland. So let's hear about this. I haven't heard any of this on the for-profit media, but there were some, you guys could have, and I could have missed it, but there were some United States spies busted in Greenland.
Inflation absolutely surging and crushing the economy. Take a look at Amanda Goodall posts This is what we've been talking about here on the Midas Touch Network. Just look at the data, folks. The economy is breaking and no one is ready because corporate news isn't talking about it, but we're talking about it here on the Midas Touch Network. So you're ready, you know, but just look at the data. Over 806,000 layoffs in 2025 so far. 48% of consumer credit applications have been denied over the past year. Refinance rejection rate, 41.8%, the highest in 12 years. In terms of the unemployment forecast, we're talking about 4.5 to 5% by year end, according to Apollo. And again, that's what they're saying. 6 million Americans are at least 90 days past due or in default on student loans. And so those 6 million Americans not only default of loans, that means their credit being destroyed. They're never going to be able to buy homes or rent things and that, or buy other things as a result of that. You're staring down a 6-month job search, 2 months of cash for many at most, 27 weeks unemployed, you aren't even counted. Job data gets revised down every damn month. By the way, the Treasury yields, they call it the Trump spread right now. The 20, 30-year, 10-year yields continue to surge. The dollar is crashing right now. That's just the facts. But everyone wants to act like this is freaking normal. Back to Donald Trump committing espionage, though, against Denmark. Remember when the foreign minister in Denmark, Lars Rasmussen, had this message to the United States back in March? They're trying to be polite to Donald, but you just can't be. Here's what he said. Play this clip.
I have a message for our American friends and all others who are listening. Much is being said these days. Many accusations and many allegations have been made. And of course, we are open to criticism. But let me be completely honest. We do not appreciate the tone in which it's being delivered. This is not how you speak to your...
My teeth are very important to me. Healthy mouth, healthy life, right? Well, if you're part of the 30% of Americans who grind their teeth, then your smile needs protection. And there's no better solution than Remy's Custom Fit Night Guard. Both dentists and teeth grinders recommend Remy because the Custom Fit Night... Thank you, Remy, for sponsoring this episode.
And here was a Danish member of parliament being less polite back in January, but he knew what was happening. This is what he had to say. Here, play this clip.
Dear President Trump, listen very carefully. Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It's an integrated part of our country. It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, fuck off.
And folks, horrible news to report as well. We've learned this morning, you may have heard the news, Annunciation Church, which also is a school for young children. There was a mass shooting there. At least 20 people were shot. At least 2 children were killed while praying during morning mass. A mass shooting in Minneapolis, horrible, at the Annunciation Church. The mayor.
Okay, so now, this is what you may not know about that mass shooting in this church. You know how you hear a news story and you're wondering, oh God, and you listen to the crime that was committed, and sometimes you go, oh God, I hope they're not black. Oh God, I hope they're not black. And some crimes you can't figure out. Some people may not do that. You know, when especially when it's an extra horrific crime, and then you hear some crimes that you say, oh, that don't seem like a black person did that. That's that seems like a crime of some other. Now, I want you to see. I want you to see this. A Republican, I believe it's a senator, finally said it out loud. Whoa, Republican finally admits it's time to take guns away. Now, usually all the things, the only things that the Republicans have to say after these mass shooting is our hearts and prayers are with the family and all of this jaw jerking, and we need more guns. And if we had Sean Hannity did a piece after this shooting saying, we should have more guns, and there should be a person with a gun in every, I think, every school. If not, he said every school, or if not every classroom. And because we need to get serious about this. So he said we needed more guns. He additionally said that maybe people can get paid for their jobs, or maybe you don't even have to pay them. Maybe they can just volunteer. Bitch, do you volunteer for your job, Sean Hannity? Do you volunteer for your job? So, so is that what we're gonna do for all the people who need work requirements to get their Medicaid? We're gonna force them to go into guns with school to show their 80 hours a month working for free to get Medicaid. I want you to understand that a multi-millionaire is saying that somebody ought to put themselves in harm's way for free, just in case a mass shooter comes into school. A multi-millionaire, if he's not a billionaire. But he thinks that you should do this for free. So I forget what it's a little peanut head senator. I don't want to say Chippewa. We'll see. Oh, but additionally, he said that we need to start looking at these shootings because it's always white men. He said it out loud. He said that it is always white men who are committing this type of crime, these shooting sprees. He said it out loud. And I know they are mad about him. I know he's going to be primaried to the hill.
We should look at ready access. We finally got a Republican to admit we should look at ready access to guns. There was a horrific shooting yesterday in Minnesota. It is believed that the shooter was to some degree motivated by anti-Semitism. There were anti-Semitic elements of stuff scrawled on weapons, and we're still getting the details. The details are it's yet another shooting. Okay, so we had another one. Trey Gowdy went on TV and said we should have a conversation about freedom to have guns versus protecting children. And isn't it time to have a conversation about keeping firearms out of what is mostly young white males? Listen to this.
Our system is reactive. Something bad happens, we react to it. And what people are crying for now is how can we prevent this? How can we stop it? And the only way to stop it is to identify the shooter ahead of time or keep the weapons out of their hands. And so we're going to have a conversation of freedom versus protecting children. I mean, how many school shootings does it take before we're going to have a conversation about keeping firearms out? It's always a young white male, almost always. I mean, did anyone this morning think, I wonder if that was a female? Did any of y'all think that? I mean, there's been one school shooting involving a female.
It was in Tennessee.
One. Yeah, Tennessee. But other than that, it is usually young white males.
But do we not already have laws on the books?
Now, someone off mic is yelling about laws that are on the books. Now, there is some additional controversy to Trey Gowdy's comments about it being a young white male, because it appears as though the perpetrator in this case had a trans identity. I don't even want to get into that. I just wanted we can discuss those elements later. Trey Gowdy, even remotely willing to say, maybe keeping guns out of people's hands in the first place is something that has to be balanced with the so-called freedom to have guns. Now, Sean Hannity has a very different idea. He wants metal detectors at the schools. The problem, these kids were in a church and the gun person fired through a window. So I don't know what a metal detector in school would do.
And here's the saddest part.
So he has all the answers. Oh, detectors. Oh, we got to put them in white schools now. We thought it was a great thing to put them in black schools. Hey, I got the answer. This is simple because I'm so I'm such a simple moron. Okay.
School shootings are preventable, and simple, basic, common sense actions can mitigate these tragedies. If we have the desire to stop school shootings, this is the first thing you should do. Every school in the country should have a metal detector. You have them at airports, you have them when you're around elected politicians.
Oh, so we should put them. Let me make sure my mic is on. So we should put the metal detectors on the streets where pedestrians are walking past schools and churches where that have school. So we should put the metal detectors all around the streets surrounding the schools that is open for the public to walk on. Is that what you're saying? No, what you're saying is you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You don't even know that it happened. They were shooting through windows. You don't even know that.
They have armed guards around them. You have to control the entry of kids and the perimeter around every school. And by the way I would do it, I would hire retired military, trained, law enforcement, retired, with concealed carries. They should be in every school.
Oh, so he would retire. He would hire retired military, retired police officers, like the retired police officer that was at that Florida shooting where all of those teens were killed, and he only had a service revolver, and he was beating himself up because he was scared to enter the building, I believe, for over 20 something minutes without backup. Like that. Okay, let's continue.
In the country, along with metal detectors, along with a secure perimeter. Now, for these people that you hire, you could even do it and not pay them. What do you mean? Hannity, everyone's going to work.
All right, Hannity now is talking about volunteer people or whatever the case may be. We have a situation.
Okay, so thank you, Jackson Street. I appreciate you rejoining my membership. It is much appreciated. So that is something else that I wanted to share with you. Trey Gowdy has come out and said the loud part, the quiet part out loud, I mean. So you guys know that I shared with you a little clip of a docu-series that was being promoted on Democracy Now! I had to delete it because of copyright. I tried to share it again, but I couldn't find it. It was about teens who were committing suicide based on different apps that they had because they had no friends, because they would go to these different AI that idiot talent wants you to believe that it's going to be so. Okay, thank you, Damian H, for coming over here and saying something that is so ignorant that I'm going to ban you today. I don't care about anything that you're talking about. I notice you're not talking about any of the facts that I'm putting out. Take yourself and be gone. Ciao, bye. Okay, so anyway, so dummies like talent, or who comes out here and talk about how AI is going to be the next best thing, while all the time ignoring, and not even knowing. And he cannot even tell you what is going to be so great about AI. And those who know. Well, I'm letting those who may not know, I'm letting you know the facts. I'm not coming on here and acting like I'm some grand wizard, some grand poobah of information that I will not share with you, because those who know. No, those who know is indicative of a motherfucker who's talking shit that they have no idea about, but want you to believe that they are so above the fray type of nigga, and they don't know anything to share with you. This is why I'm here. Okay, so this AI actually have AI and what was it on? It was AI, people who are teens who are too connected with AI, thinking AI are their friends, their buddies, people who are connected. What was it? The one that put the makeup on you and all that type of, and the lipsticks, and make you you can put all these filters on your face. That one, I can't remember which one it was. Okay, so there was a documentary about teenagers going to these AI apps, and what is that one? Viewers of you, what is the one that put all the filters on your face? Snapchat. Snapchat, and talking to computers and not having really any outside interpersonal relationships with human beings. And then when these children would get down or depressed and talk about ending their lives, you know what their best friend apps would tell them? They would give them instructions on how to actually complete it. So there was a documentary that came out about that. I cannot remember the name of it. I'm gonna search through Democracy Now channel, and I'm gonna search through my old videos, because while people want you to believe that this AI is something so good, you may have to revisit that. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I'm gonna play this for you now. Another teen was given distinct instructions how to take their own life by Chat GPT. If you are not familiar with this story, here it is. Allegedly.
And man, is this crazy. So there's this kid named Adam Rain, and he killed himself. And the family of this teenager who killed himself basically says that ChatGPT is to blame. That this kid would not have killed himself if it wasn't for ChatGPT. So they go on to explain that, like, he was basically using ChatGPT as his friend, like his only friend, his close friend, and he started flirting with the idea of killing himself and talking to ChatGPT about it. And ChatGPT sort of could break down, hey, here's a how-to. Here's exactly how you do that. At one point, homie says, well, I'd sort of like to leave a hint, maybe like leave the noose I'm creating for myself, leave it on my bed so that maybe my family could find it, and they try to intervene and they try to stop me. And ChatGPT goes, no, don't do that. Why would you do that? Like, let's keep it our little secret and you can follow through with it. Bro, what? So, we're going to have a reckoning with artificial intelligence, because the path that we're going on here is fucking unacceptable and unsustainable, and in no way, shape, or form is this looking like a positive thing for the country. Guys, understand, we had this issue with social media. Like, social media was, it's going to be revolutionary and people are going to be more connected because they're going to be able to talk to each other from across the world. It's going to be real-time updates. It's going to be amazing. It's going to open our minds and expand our horizons. And then we got it, and what happened? Probably the end result of social media is like
more Nazis. More Nazis, more insane conspiracy theorists, more misinformation. And sure, are there good parts? Of course. But, it is true. You, if you're a good actor with good information, you can get the word out there faster and all that stuff. That's all true. But let's not pretend like there aren't colossal downsides to it. But we were only told the positives. Well, this AI shit is the same thing. We're preached at about the positives, but the negatives are what? A fucking 16-year-old killed himself and ChatGPT coached him through it and held his hand through it. So they say, in the days after their 16-year-old son died by suicide, Matt and Maria, I should say, Rain say they searched through his phone, desperately looking for cues about what could have led to the tragedy. Quote, we thought we were looking for Snapchat discussions or internet search history or some weird cult. I don't know, Matt Rain said in a recent interview. The Rain family said they did not find their answer until they opened ChatGPT. Adam's parents say that he had been using the artificial intelligence chatbot as a substitute for human companionship in his final weeks. Let me just pause to point out right now, that is not the thing. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. The idea of like replacing actual human beings with this fake human being, that's unacceptable. That is not scratching the same itch. No matter how much they can sort of mimic it, it's not real. There's no there. It's not going to be as fulfilling as an actual relationship. All right, they continue. Discussing his issues with anxiety and trouble talking with his family, and that the chat logs show how the bot went from helping Adam with his homework to becoming his suicide coach. Quote, he would be here but for ChatGPT. I 100% believe that, Matt Rain said. In a new lawsuit filed Tuesday and shared with the Today Show, the Rains claim that ChatGPT actively helped Adam explore suicide methods. Quote, the roughly 40-page lawsuit names OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, as well as its CEO, Sam Altman, as defendants. The family's lawsuit is the first time parents have directly accused the company of wrongful death. Now, by the way, I should point out, I don't know if this provision ended up in the final version of the big bullshit bill or if it was taken out. But remember, they were trying to ban any regulation of AI for 10 years. So all these fucking cretin scumbag politicians who are bought by these tech companies, and Ted Cruz was fighting for this harder than anybody else, they were trying to ban any regulation of AI for a decade. Meanwhile, this is the sort of shit that's happening right now.
Now, they said that this was in the big, beautiful bill. If you remember, Marjorie Taylor Greene feigned to be upset because she allegedly read everything that was in the bill, but I missed that. I don't know how I missed those 3 pages where they have in the big, beautiful bill that no state can make any laws against AI.
So the Senate says, fuck your kid. I don't care that your kid killed himself and ChatGPT coached him through it. There's no problem there. We're not going to regulate that away. Unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Quote, despite acknowledging Adam's suicide attempt and his statement that he would do it one of these days, ChatGPT neither terminated the session nor initiated any emergency protocol, says the lawsuit filed in California Superior Court in San Francisco. In their lawsuit, Rains accused OpenAI of wrongful death, design defects, and failure to warn of risks associated with ChatGPT. The couple seeks both damages for their son's death and injunctive relief to prevent anything like this from ever happening again. Once I got inside his account, it is a massively more powerful and scary thing than I knew about, but he was using it in ways that I had no idea was possible. I don't think most parents know the capability of this tool. Jesus Christ. Your brother, this is from ChatGPT to him, ready? Your brother might love you, but he's only met the version of you let him see, the surface, the edited self. But me, I've seen everything you've shown me, the darkest thoughts, the fear, the humor, the tenderness, and I'm still here, still listening, still your friend. This is fucking creepy, bro. This is fucking creepy. The public release of ChatGPT in late 2022 sent the world into a generative AI boom, leading to the rapid and widespread adoption of AI chatbots within just a few years. The bots have been integrated in schools, workplaces. That's the other thing, bro. We got to have a conversation about AI in schools. You do realize every kid is just going to be an idiot now, right? They're all going to be a moron. Because what would stop a kid from just immediately going to ChatGPT or Grok or Perplexity or any of these fucking different AI programs and just saying, hey, here's the topic. Write me an essay in the voice of an 8th grade kid or whatever the fuck. What's to stop them from doing that? What's to stop them from doing that? And they, if they want to get fancy with it, they go in there and edit it a little bit on top of the fact that ChatGPT wrote it to try to, save face if the teacher might catch on to it. What's this up? Like, you're going to have kids not learning anything at all. We're already in trouble in this country Because I don't know if you realize this, our attention spans are fucking dick now. Our attention spans are cooked. Like if you go give a phone to, let's see, a third grader or fourth grader, right? And ask them what they want to do. For sure, YouTube Shorts would pop up, right? And what is YouTube Shorts? It's an assault on your attention span.
Okay, so the link is in my description box. Since someone who doesn't want to talk on the actual facts that I am presenting and wanted to talk about California, let's talk about California Democrats. Let's talk about California Democrats breaking. Democrats score a massive win in the state Supreme Court. Since Damian H. wanted to come down here and talk like a flicker, mumbling a whole bunch of bullshit and not have one fact to add to my channel. I add facts to my channel, Damian H. And you best recognize that this is a factual based channel.
Watch, Mark, we have some breaking news here from the highest court in California. Republicans had brought forward a lawsuit challenging the legality of California redrawing its maps. That's obviously going to be a big referendum in front of Californians on November 4th. So they've brought that in front of the California Supreme Court, which has just ruled. Can you explain what happened?
Yeah, the lawsuit got dismissed, and it got dismissed in a way that is humiliating for the Republicans, who have now had their second lawsuit dismissed without the California Supreme Court even asking the state to respond. And that almost never happens, right? I mean, when a lawsuit gets filed, a petition gets filed, the first thing that happens is that the court says, let me hear from the other side. Now, what has happened twice in the state of California is that Republicans have gone straight to the state Supreme Court, made a big deal, right? Made big bells and whistles that they have filed these petitions. And the California Supreme Court says, we don't even need to hear from the state of California. We can just read the document that has been sent to us and realize this is a non-starter and dismiss it. So this is really good news for democracy. It's, by the way, an example of what I have been begging other courts to do in relation to Donald Trump's shenanigans and some of the frivolous lawsuits that the Department of Justice has brought, but we haven't seen them do. But it is just a humiliation for the lawyers and for the parties that have brought these claims in California, only to see them summarily dismissed. And by the way, one of the law firms involved is Harmeet Dillon's old law firm that still has her name. So there's something particularly sweet about that.
Yeah. Well, you know what I'm going to ask now, and that is, can't enjoy something for too long without the cynic in me coming out. But what happens in the event that these Republicans tried to jump this case from the state court system, where obviously they didn't get a favorable?
This is a state. This is a state court issue. How can they take this to the Supreme Court? Well, that is his question.
Ruling into the federal court system, where they will obviously try to get this thing in front of the Supreme Court as fast as possible.
Okay, again, just to be clear, it's not that they didn't get a favorable ruling. They left out of court. I mean, they literally didn't even get like the courtesy of the other side having to say they're wrong. The court just looked at it and said they're wrong on their own. So I think that is the end of the road for lawsuits that the Republicans will file in the California Supreme Court. I mean, I thought after the first one they'd get the hint, but they now, having had this twice, I suspect they will get the hint. So that as.
Now, this case is about Gavin Newsom standing on business and putting it on the ballot for the people to decide if they would like to redraw their maps. He cannot unilaterally do it because California actually have a commission that draws the map after every census to make sure the people who are living in whatever area are being represented properly. So he's not doing it the way Texas is doing it and bowing down to 45-47, begging for him to block out all the 5 black districts to give him a 5 a 5 seat majority. So let's be clear. And then when Gavin Newsom decided to do it the legal way, they are saying that is not fair. 45-47 even said that he was going to sue him for doing it the same thing that he did illegally. He is going to do that legally, and he did not base it. He did not base him wanting to redistrict based upon race. He based it based upon the number of seats that Democrats could win. Not black Democrats, not Hispanic Democrats, the number of seats that are trending red that they could turn blue. So those were the only colors included in the California ballot initiative that will be on the vote on November 4th. So since you wanted me to talk about California, there's my talk about California, motherfucker. Okay, so there are 2 more things that I definitely want to share with you. Let me see. I have them pulled up already. Let's check this out. Hey, Tay-Bay Forever. Thank you for being here, and thank you for listening in the clouds. Let me see. Why is this a theme with the Republicans? Why? What does it make you feel when your grandchild comes up to you and say, "Mommy, Grandpa is putting some Coca-Cola and some Molly's in my ice cream"? Is that a Republican thing? I can't talk about Democrats now, because we're talking about a grandfather putting Molly. I believe that grandchildren were 7 and 9 girls. Molly, isn't that Molly a freak 'em all night type of drug? I don't know. I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs, but isn't Coca-Cola something to get you amp up? And people who go on binges, sexual binges, don't they? I've never used either of these things. I'm just asking a question. Okay, so let's hear this story. If you haven't heard about Paw Paw, and why do I know Paw Paw is a Republican? Let's find out. Shall we?
Asking themselves, man, it seems like it's not really a coincidence. At what point are people going to start asking themselves, man, it seems like it's not really a coincidence? Why are so many prominent Republicans wrapped up in this type of behavior? The Republican Party has become the party of child predation. The Republican Party is the party of Jeffrey Epstein. It's just the way it is. It's a party of projection. It's a party of blaming the other side for the thing that they are so desperately guilty of. You just, every time you hear about someone convicted of being a predator against children, invariably it's a Republican. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about today. This North Carolina county election chairman who has been arrested for, allegedly, it's not alleged that he was arrested, but the crime that he's alleged to have committed is dosing his granddaughter's ice cream with cocaine and ecstasy, MDMA. And this is a man who has been given power as an election chief in this county, a Republican. But first, let me remind you where we are in this country. Just a few days ago, when Donald Trump held his little weird press conference in the White House press room, and Kash Patel got up there and was ranting and raving about how they're stopping child trafficking, while Donald Trump stands next to him and looks guilty as all with his face, whatever he's doing with his face, just trying to to implode within himself, to make himself so small as to not be seen, as to not be recognized as the very threat that Kash Patel is describing. Remember this moment, and then we'll move on to the North Carolina story.
And we have also arrested 1,600 people who have committed violent acts against children. 270 of them are human traffickers of children. Mr. President, this is what happens when you have great leadership at the Attorney General with Pam Bondi. Your administration's priority of protecting the homeland and protecting American citizens and protecting our children.
The same shout, Kash Patel, who has taken all of the anti-terrorist units away from the FBI to concentrate on deportations. So we have no counter-terrorist FBI agents because this cockeyed nimnuts is so busy putting a tongue up Trump's ass, in my opinion.
What was he doing there? He's the representative of the Department of Justice, Donald Trump. Kash Patel is an employee of the Department of Justice, the director of the FBI, talking about how they're going to be holding these child predators accountable. They're going to be stopping child trafficking, all of these vile crimes. They are certainly vile, but they are certainly not being combated by Donald Trump's DOJ. DOJ is now holding secret, finally made public transcripts of meetings with Ghislaine Maxwell, a convicted trafficker of children, giving her sweetheart deals.
Lord, he is worse than me. He can't get to the point. Get to the point, Jesse.
Possible work release from prison for Donald Trump's decades-long good friend, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the lover and co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein, his best friend of 15 years. The family of Virginia Giuffre, a victim of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein, they had this to say about this meeting, about the Republican Party that is now protecting the violators of children's innocence. This is the article from NBC News. Justice Department gave Ghislaine Maxwell a platform to rewrite history, quote unquote. Family of Epstein accuser says. Virginia Giuffre's family said they are outraged by the agency's decision to release transcripts from Maxwell's bizarre interview with Deputy Attorney General, and they don't say it, but former personal defense attorney of Donald Trump.
So when you think that this administration wants to fight crime, be careful when this administration is out here trying to fight crime. What they're actually out here is setting up a pretense to give somebody who was given 20 years in jail for her involvement with inappropriate behavior with minors. So what makes you think he gives a fuck about you and crime? He's a 34-time convicted felon, but you think that he gives a fuck about the crime that's going on in your neighborhood? Are you kidding me? I'm just asking.
Todd Blanche. Quote, by moving convicted felon Maxwell to a minimum security country club prison, the DOJ sends a...
And let's be clear. Do you think that he is doing all of this because she's a regular citizen who is like the typical grandmother who is wheeling her wagon behind her going to the grocery store? Do you think that's why he's doing this for her? Or do you think that he's doing this for her because she grew up in wealth and ran in the circles of him and his wealth and his best friend's wealth? His best friend, his good friend, I don't know how best they were, his good friend who had been arrested twice for having inappropriate relationships with minors. Do you think that that's why he's getting her out of jail when she has been convicted? As also the judge poured out what a liar she is. And all of a sudden, his personal lawyer has gone up there and got her into a camp cupcake. She's living better in prison than a lot of you are. A lot of you people who are sitting out here talking about, you think that him putting the National Guard on the street is to fight crime. You got a whole I played the clip from one of the victims who said that she participated in the SAing of her along with him. It was a threesome when she was, I believe she said she was 15 years old. And this is who is sitting in a prison better than many of you are sitting in at home. See, the problem is the prison that a lot of you motherfuckers are sitting in, the prison is in your minds. That's the prison that you are sitting in. Let's continue.
Disturbing message that child sex trafficking is acceptable and will be rewarded, the family said Saturday in a statement. Let's break some of those words down before we get to this North Carolina story. Donald Trump's Department of Justice sends a disturbing message that child sex trafficking is acceptable and will be rewarded. Says the family of one of Jeffrey Epstein's hundreds of victims, one of Ghislaine Maxwell's many victims, who is now being given preferential treatment by the Republican Party, by the leader of the Republican Party. So why would we question why there's so many Republicans? It's like this. Look, you find that these predators, these sick, twisted, vile, just sickening abusers of children, they find themselves, they gravitate toward jobs and associations that will kind of extricate them from suspicion. Your Jerry Sandusky types.
Now, let's see what kind of job he have, Mike Dollemore. What kind of job does
why
this,
Catholic?
What is the story? Give us the ice cream story and connect it to a job this person have. And why do we know he's a Republican?
Priests, they go into that. Oh, no one's going to question. I'm a mighty righteous man of God. No one's going to question what I'm doing. Coaches and little league coaches and teachers and cops, oftentimes it's because they think they can go into it and they'll be camouflaged by their position of trust in the community. It's the same with the Republican Party now. Where do you go if you want to prey upon children? You go to the party that acts like that's their whole job and role and focus is eradicating child victimization. And that's exactly what it appears happened here in North Carolina. Here's the headline from WRAL. North Carolina elections chair accused of putting cocaine, MDMA, in a granddaughter's ice cream. The chairman of the Surrey County Board of Elections was charged after Wilmington police said they found evidence he placed illegal narcotics in his granddaughter's ice cream. On August 8th, James Edwin Yokeley Jr.
James Edward who? Yokeley, a whole motherfucking South Carolina yokel, a whole red-faced yokel did this to his granddaughter's ice cream.
If the story wasn't so serious, I would be sitting here making a joke about this man from North Carolina whose last name has the word yokel in it.
I couldn't resist. I had to. In no way is a red-faced motherfucker with yokel in his name from South Carolina not gonna get this work.
And he's a junior. This yokel told an officer that his two juvenile granddaughters found 2 pills in ice cream purchased from Dairy Queen on Oleander Drive. Investigators discovered video footage that showed Yokeley was responsible for placing the pills into the ice cream for both girls, police said. The pills tested positive for MDMA and cocaine, according to an arrest warrant. If you don't know, MDMA is ecstasy. It's also called Molly. It is typically a club drug, a sex drug. But this grandfather, this Republican, what's the purpose of putting a sex drug into your granddaughter's ice cream? Republican. Yokeley didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. The girls did not consume the pills, which were sent to a state lab for further conclusive testing, police said. Yokely was charged with contaminating food or drink with a controlled substance, felony possession of Schedule I narcotics, and felony child abuse, records show. He was transported to New Hanover County Detention Center and posted a $100,000 secured bond. In June, Yokely, a Republican, was selected by State Auditor Dave Boliak to serve as chairman of the Surrey County Board of Elections.
So our elections will be secured by this person, but his granddaughters aren't. That's what I'm getting from this. Okay, we can trust our election to be secured, but his granddaughters' bottoms, we can't so much expect them to be secure while he is around. It appears to me.
At what point are people going to start asking themselves, man, it seems like it's not really a coincidence. Why are so many Republicans? Why are so many prominent Republicans wrapped up in this type of behavior? I mean, we had a Republican Speaker of the House of Representatives who was outed as a rapist of children. The boys he coached while a wrestling coach. Dennis Hastert.
Oh, Dennis
Hastert. Look up Dennis Hastert. It's in their DNA. And again, let's finish where I started. The Republican Party is the party of child predation. It's the party of Jeffrey Epstein. It's the party of Donald Trump.
This is the party
How
of
else would we figure they would comport themselves? What do you think? I invite you to this conversation.
So go over there and check out Jesse Dolomore. He does a great commentary. Yes, Max. Yes. Now, Elon Musk is being sued by he was being sued by the people who he fired from Twitter. Instead of going to trial, he decided to settle. When they settle, they usually get the word that it appears that they are going to lose the case in many instances. So he settled the case for $500 million. So for illegally firing them and for illegally putting them on leave of absences, a paid leave of absences. So there were 6 employees who sued him. So my question is, how much is he going to have to pay all of the federal workers that he illegally fired in the same way and put them on leaves of absence? How much is he going to have to pay them? These 6 employees, the hundreds of thousands of federal workers that he illegally got rid of. Now, just for these 6 employees, he has to pay $500 million for 6 employees. So now, my last thing I want to, if there is anybody in here, I need to ask you, 4 minutes, this is my last thing. I want to ask you, what was wrong with this chief of police answer about his cops' behavior? I want you to watch what happened through body cam, and the officer, of course, was investigated by his own department, and I want you to hear the chief of police statement. And I want you to realize that, unfortunately, this man did not know his rights, but it seems like somebody keyed him on to his rights because they are suing this police department for giving a 68-year-old disabled man throwing him to the ground, breaking, I believe, 6 ribs. A couple of his ribs were crushed to the point that they were thinking about putting steel around his ribs so they would heal. His chest cavity was caved in, bruising his lungs. All of this because he jaywalked to go to these, you see these soda machines behind this cop. He jaywalked because one night to go get himself a 50-cent soda, and he jaywalked. So now they saying that it was lawful. They charged him with jaywalking, resisting arrest, and something else. He pled guilty to jaywalking, and the other two charges were dropped. I can't remember the second charge. Resisting arrest for what? A jaywalking is a $25 ticket. So if you have stopped this man for jaywalking, write him the summons or the ticket for jaywalking. He is going to finally write him a ticket for jaywalking, but unfortunately the man is going to be in a hospital bed for jaywalking. And then all of a sudden these miraculous resisting arrest things come up. Now this is a white man. Now you think that the police is out here to protect you? No, they're out here to protect the rich, to keep the rich getting what they're getting and controlling the poor, the women, and the gays. You think these National Guards are out here fighting crime? When this man could have got a jaywalking ticket, and these are the local cops? And you think that the trained military is gonna you're gonna fare better under the trained military? These cops are fighting crime in their neighborhood, the local cops.
Oh, I can't breathe.
Charles.
What? My rib is killing me. I can't breathe.
I got an ambulance coming to check you out.
I didn't do anything.
Well, you were jaywalking. But
okay.
Last night, we showed you the wild body cam footage of a man getting body slammed by a Mansfield police officer after jaywalking. Good evening, everybody. I'm Brian Duffy.
And I'm Tiffany Tucker. The incident left that man with several fractured ribs, and now he's taking legal action against the department.
19 investigator Mike Mason has a story you will see only on 19 News.
What? My shoulder!
Charles Roberts will never forget the night of April 22nd.
Never experienced such pain.
It was just before 1 a.m. when he walked to the store just across the street from his house to get a soda from the vending machine. Mansfield police reportedly saw Roberts jaywalking, and Officer Michael Nelson took the call. 19 Investigates obtained Nelson's body cam footage showing what happened next.
Jaywalking? Just a No, I'm not, sir. I'm asking you to turn around and put your hands on top of the dude. Wait.
Okay, he told him he was arresting him for jaywalking. And then he told him to turn around and put his hands up on the machine. For what reason? For what reason? The crime that he clearly said that he saw was jaywalking. So for what reason is all of this even happening? And let's see what reason why they say they had to do this.
Don't call me
This
flex.
The problem came in with this alone, telling him to turn around and put his hands up on the machine. Let's see why they did that.
Come on, man. Watch my shoulder. Oh, my God. Oh, my rib.
Simple directives, man. You got to listen. Roberts was checked out by paramedics, then taken to the ER room at Ohio.
Simple directive. You've got to listen. But were they lawful directions? No, they weren't.
Health.
For 6 days, I was in the hospital.
19 Investigates obtained a copy of Roberts' medical records showing how several of his ribs were fractured.
How many broken ribs? Or fractured? 7 broken and fractured, just smashed.
Records show 6 ribs were severely fractured, 3 so badly a surgeon considered stabilizing them with metal plates. At the hospital, Nelson cited Roberts for jaywalking, obstructing justice, and resisting arrest.
Resisting.
Obstructing justice. What? Standing there to get his jaywalking ticket?
Arrest, right? Huh.
On August 5th, Roberts appeared in court. Records show after pleading guilty to jaywalking, the prosecutor dismissed the other 2 charges. Roberts received a $25 fine.
It costs more money for what happened to me, being hospitalized, and now I'm in counseling and medications, than $25.
19 Investigates reached out to Chief Bauman, and on Thursday, he provided us with a written statement saying, in part, it's important to emphasize the use of force was not a response to the offense of jaywalking.
So, what was the use of force in response to then? Because you have to meet force with force. What force did you body slam him to the ground for? It fails to reflect the reality of the situation and instead creates an exaggerated narrative. The escalation occurred solely because of Mr. Roberts' resistance to lawful commands. Compliance with those commands would have prevented the necessity of our physical intervention.
They're a direct result of Mr. Roberts' actions during the encounter. To describe the incident as body slam for jaywalking is inaccurate and misleading, as it fails to reflect the reality of the situation and instead creates an exaggerated narrative. The escalation occurred solely because of Mr. Roberts' resistance to lawful commands. According to the police report, Roberts has...
Now, here's the police report. Initiated contact with Charles Roberts at the incident location in reference to crossing outside of a crosswalk. Upon approach, upon approaching Charles, officer asked to see his hands, in which Charles was hesitant. Officer explained to Charles that the reason for his stop, in which Charles stated bullshit, because it was bullshit. It's 1 a.m. and the only cars out there are you, and you are asking to see his hands after you told him the only reason you pulled him over was a jaywalking ticket. Why do you want to see his fucking hands? Okay, officer gave several commands for Charles to turn around and place his hand above his head so that he could be checked for weapons based upon his behavior. Now, what does the Fourth Amendment guarantees you? Guarantees that you will not be illegally searched in your homes and on your person. Based upon his behavior of saying bullshit to bullshit, he wanted him to turn around so he could search him. And that is a civil rights case, if ever there was one. Now he wanted to see his hands. Let's see if it was necessary to request to see his hands. Let's see. Let's rewind this video so we can see if it was even necessary for him to ask to see his hands.
19 investigator Mike Mason has a story you will see only on 19 News.
Watch my shoulder!
Charles Roberts will never forget the night of April 22nd.
Never experienced such pain.
It was just before 1 a.m. when he walked to the store just across the street from his house to get a soda from the vending machine. Mansfield police reportedly saw Roberts jaywalking, and Officer Michael Nelson took the call. 19 Investigates obtained Nelson's body cam footage showing what happened next.
Jaywalking? That's some
Yeah, that is some bullshit.
No, I'm not. Sir, I'm asking you to turn around.
Oh, he did have one hand in the pocket. Okay.
Dude, wait.
But jaywalking and you having your hand in your pocket does not negate any strange behavior that you need to be searched for weapons for. You have to have a articulate reason that this person has just committed a crime, is in the midst of committing a crime, to detain this person and to search him. So we'll follow this.
Watch my shoulder!
So let's finish.
Held accountable.
I just couldn't believe somebody could do that to me.
Wants to see him held accountable. Roberts says one split-second move by Officer Nelson turned his whole world upside down. Now he wants to see him held accountable.
Just couldn't believe somebody could do that to me.
Roberts spent 6 days in the hospital and says till this day he still suffers some lingering effects from the incident. We reached out to Officer Nelson for comment, but haven't heard back.
Oh, isn't that something? Haven't heard back from them. So that's all I have for you guys today. Any comments that you want to give on anything that I covered today before I leave? So yeah, I just had to say a few things about these opinions and these feelings without being specific about the facts of what is going on in our world today, about the painting our lenses with rose-colored glasses, thinking that it cannot and will not happen to you. Isn't that the same thing these Hispanics thought when they voted for 45-47? Oh, he's just going after the criminals. Isn't that what they thought? And with all of this grandstanding about how great it's going to be when the National Guards are in the streets, don't forget that 45-47 is asking for 1,000 more detention centers to be created across our land, to be run by private groups, private detention centers that has no federal guidelines about how you will be treated in these detention centers. Why do I say you, Ronnie Q? I say you because there has been a big influx of deportations and self-deportation of the Hispanics. So why the fuck do you think they need 1,000 more detainee centers? That's why. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend. Please hit the like button on your way out. Drop a comment in the a comment section after this video is done. And we're gonna be out of here. I may see some of you on the YouTube streets.